What is going on, everybody? Hello. Welcome back to the channel. We are here with another Sunday Funday with the one and only Darkestnyte. And Darkestnyte, how are you doing today, man?
Not bad at all.
Yeah.
Sunday, kind of chill. Got my coffee.
There you go. I just got mine too. I've had a little bit slower start today. Sorry, guys, my eye is killing me. 1 second.
But actually, we're early, so hey.
All right, here's a couple things. All right, so first thing, the reason that we're early is because World Cup is today, and so I want to watch the first match that starts in a little under 2 hours.
Yeah.
So it's after this, it's going to be literally sports all day long because I'm going to do that. I'm going to watch the World Cup from 10 to 12, and then my usual American football afterwards. So I'm looking forward to that. So I appreciate you coming on a little bit earlier, Darkestnyte.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Second thing, and I apologize to you for being late, but part of the reason for that was, I don't know if you saw that DEC video that I posted yesterday.
I started watching it. Yeah.
I posted it last night, and no joke, I have. This is not a flex because it's just I have DEC whales reaching out to me telling me how wrong I am, and so I was on the phone with one of them this morning, not in a bad way, but they're just like, I think you have the perspective wrong here, and I was like, please educate me because I'm clearly not a DEC whale. So that was an interesting conversation, which sorry for letting that get away a little bit this morning.
Yeah, but we should definitely talk about that probably. And hey, man, you also spelled my name wrong.
I know. Okay, you know what? He
was like, what?
Okay, so here's what happened. Here's where my mind has been so messed up the last couple of days, and I did fix it already. So on YouTube, it's showing the right thing now. No, because you know what? So I believe I spelled your name right for the longest time, right? And then when I would be chatting with people via message, I would always shorten your name to just DN.
Right.
And I think it was on one of the recent streams that you did with Gank and Walking Keys, where somebody said Darkestnyte, but they spelled out Knight.
Yep.
And I didn't think deeply on it, but I did think, holy shit, have I gotten his name wrong this entire time? Have I been spelling it wrong? So for the last couple of days, no joke, I have been, every time I talk to someone, I have to like pause and be like, DK, not DN. And then this morning I was typing it in and I was like, Darkestnyte. I was just like, why does this feel so weird? Feel like typing in with a Knight. I'm like, it feels like I've never typed this before when typing his name. But again, nothing clicked until I came in here and I saw Stock Jockey's thing. Isn't it spelled Knight? And I was just like, oh my God, yes, of course it is. What is wrong with me? I hope that's a good way. No, it's not good, but it's like, I've known you long enough now that I'm just getting confused. But there's
so
where
many meanings, right? Like, so there's multiple meanings. There's not one specific meaning, which we've talked about in the past, right? So, but too funny. It's good for to get those neurons firing and all that kind of stuff.
Well, so you've been Darkestnyte with a K for the last 3 days until this morning. Maybe 2 days ago, whenever you were on the Gank and Walking Keys show.
Yes. I am very knightly.
I was like, this feels so weird. I'm like, why did I always use DN? And then again, I just never looked at the name, obviously, because that would be an easy way for me to solve my own problem. But how are you doing today? You doing okay? I know you want to talk about some stuff from this past week. Yeah. So should we get into it?
Yeah, because I'm sure we want to end on a super positive note, right? But,
sure.
Last week was pretty tough. And, I spent a lot of time thinking about it over the weekend. And, I started watching Bulldog while he was streaming when all the stuff was going on. I'm sure you saw it too. And
I did.
I realized, right? Like, this is one of my friends. I met him at Splinterfest.
Cool dude, man. Really cool dude.
For the years, of playing Splinter, so he's always been there. And I realized the strength of our community is also sometimes its weakness, right?
In what way?
Well, there's an emotional attachment there, right? I was telling Walking Keys the other day, I said, man, Splinterlands is a terrible investment for me, right? Because like, I don't ever want to sell cards, and every card to me, no matter how trivial, is like super important. But it's not just that, right? It's people too. So when you see something like last week, it really it really hits home. So So kind of a sad time, right? It's
Yeah, I guess you and I hadn't really talked about everything that happened,
yeah,
at least not publicly here. So,
yeah,
no, you're absolutely right. It was not, and this was like what, just 3 days ago, right, when the news dropped.
right,
So,
yeah,
it not an easy time. And as I said in one of the videos, it was like, there's real people with their lives significantly impacted here.
yep,
So, that's always something to be cognizant of. At the end of the day, like, in some ways, I applaud the team for doing what they feel was necessary. Because it's not like they wanted to do this, right? So
yeah,
it's like I applaud them for doing what was necessary. I was just having this conversation with someone else where it's like, you know, it's a stark difference between something like this and something like FTX, where they're like, let's see how long we can go before
yeah,
we can't anymore. Whereas here, I'm sure people will disagree with some of the things that the team has done or the way the team has handled things over the last couple of months, if they knew that this might be coming up or if they knew that this was a possibility. But I take it as something mature. I also take it as just another example that I keep trying to throw out there, that the team is not infallible, right? Like,
right,
and that, part of this is on the market. Nobody was expecting a crushing bear market, but part of the people who have been saying, did they bite off more than they could chew? You might have some merit now, right? So we'll see. Obviously, no business can really thrive in this kind. I mean, I'm sure there's certain specific businesses that can thrive in a down market, but overall, I was just talking with someone else about how they were very bullish after this, and I can understand that sentiment. Again, not minimizing the personal impact to many people, but understanding that the team has always had a very long-term outlook, and doing something as difficult as Thursday was, right? The layoffs on Thursday, that gives a little confidence back to show that, okay, well, whether they did or didn't mess up, whether they did bite off more than they could chew, they are taking the corrective actions. They are admitting where this thing can't go any further and trying to take the actions that will help them to survive in the long run.
yeah. But I'll be honest, right? I mean, again, from an investment perspective, absolutely, right? You could come away saying, okay, brighter days are ahead. But from a player perspective, right, which I traditionally am,
Mm-hmm.
um, I kind of used Aggie's question, the question he asked us at Splinterfest, right?
You want more
More
or
or
less?
less.
Yeah.
And it was the first time where the answer wasn't more. First
Really?
time. Oh yeah,
As a player?
as a player, I'm good. As a player, I feel like I'm good right now. I have enough assets, and I don't think I want to buy anymore. Not for now. Maybe in the future if I start seeing things go up. But it was
Interesting. So there's a little uncertainty in that
uncertain.
road ahead.
Yeah, not uncertainty. It's just like, I mean, again, when Aggie asks us that question, it's an emotional answer,
Mm-hmm.
right? Do you want to do something more, or do you want to do something less?
But why wouldn't you want more?
Because again, not an investment for me, right?
Sure.
Right. Yeah,
But
yeah,
but see, for me, I feel like players should be unaffected by this. I mean, granted, I know the cards that you play with are considered investments, for some, because you own the assets. But it's just like, I feel like, well, I mean, I don't know. I feel
purely
like,
emotional, man. Purely emotional.
yeah, you're right.
Purely
So,
emotional. So
okay.
we'll see. I mean, we'll see what the future goes, right? I think I would take it more of a wait and see, right? We expect
Mhm.
things will get better, maybe a year from now, 2 years from now. Hey, maybe when land comes out, I'll feel better. So I don't know, right? And
Yeah.
again, it's not uncertainty, right? I mean, I'll still play, I'll still do the things I'm going to do, still listen to content and all that.
Hmm.
But I think I'm going to be, I don't know, just a little bit more cautious, just more thoughtful around, buying something, and maybe I'll try to get a little bit less emotional about it, right? We'll see.
So, I mean, that's actually huge for me because I know, and I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah,
But here's the thing: like, I know you don't think of it as like an investment, but part of you has to be like, oh, well, there's a non-zero chance that this company goes under,
right.
right? Like, if we're just being real about it. So therefore, even though you started off a while ago and your assets have ballooned up, this is what I was asking you on the phone the other day, remember?
Yeah, yep,
Because and we won't get into that exact numbers,
yeah,
but I was just like, you had a different tone then.
yeah,
You were kind of the opposite, because I I was like, I know that this is just a game to you, but your assets are worth X, Y, and Z. I'm like, would it not worry you? Like, does it not worry you if something happens? And you were like, I started out, and this is just a game, and so.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's flipped now. Interesting.
Right.
Interesting.
So I'll tell you this, right? So this weekend, almost all weekend, I played non-crypto games. I haven't done that in like a long time.
Yeah.
And I'll dabble here, I'll dabble there.
We're
But
still supposed to play StarCraft at some point.
exactly, still haven't even gotten to that. So I just think it's a weird time in the community, and we'll just have to see where it goes.
Yeah, I don't know, on Twitter I posted something that was like, DEC's falling, or it's back down way below peg. SPS is holding decently around 4 cents, but
It is, yeah.
I was just like, I was starting to look at the different assets and say that our card values were falling too, and I was like, there's a lot of uncertainty in the community right now, and I think it's going to stay that way until they can prove that they can deliver something, that they've said that they're going to deliver, right? Because now the big question is, okay, you have 45% less staff, and you're still going to try and get everything out the door that you were supposed to. A lot of which is already a year or two late, right? If we're talking about land. So I think it's normal for people to feel that way. I don't think that there's, anything wrong to take a wait and see approach.
Yeah.
If anything, like the aping into stuff within the game always bothered me, because I was always bothered by how emotionally it affected me, right? Even on stream here during the Rift Watchers thing, people saw me ape into Rift Watchers, which was probably, I don't know. I can't go back and calculate the opportunity cost of taking that SPS and just selling it at 9 cents, but look at where we're at now. That would have been pretty good, right? Could have doubled my stack essentially.
Yeah.
So,
and I still think that was a good idea long term.
Yeah.
I think that was a fantastic idea, right?
I mean, is Oshure worth 6-figure SPS? I don't know. Could have bought Oshure.
In the future, it might be, right? And again, that's the uncertainty we see, right? So
yeah.
Here's what I see, right? We had this big change last week. Not much can really change really quickly, right? We still don't know the impact of that. And you just brought it up, right? They say they're going to do another roadmap, right? But those things that were identified, that there's still going to be objectives. What was the number one thing, right? In big bold letters, land.
Yeah,
right?
I feel like somebody just forgot to take caps lock off, but yeah.
Oh no, I think they meant it the way, right? That's going to be a big priority, right? But we've kind of had that as a priority, I think, for a while, right? So if they can do what they did last week, right? Which again, we can acknowledge that it was probably for the best, but still deliver on a significant number of their promises, then a year from now we can say, okay, it was worth it. It hurt, right? But it was still worth it. And hopefully we'll still see some of those guys, right? Maybe things will bounce back, and contracts will be renewed and people will come back on, and it'll be a celebration, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to see, because I feel like people are going to be all over the board if I say something like this, but I don't think when Agro says, if things turn in the market in a couple of months, we'd love to bring people back. I think he genuinely means that.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And we know that Aggie's like a hype train FOMO kind of guy, so I can definitely see people taking the opposite road and saying oh, he's just saying this now. But from what I've gotten to know of him, I don't think he'd say something like that if he didn't mean it, right? So it's just
we sat face to face with him.
Yeah,
with him for a long time. If there's one thing I would say about Aggie, he's very genuine.
Yeah. So if I took every word that he said to something that he meant, right? I don't think that this was difficult or easy or desired for him to have to go through this process. So when he talks about that, I don't know where the market goes. Me, I'm the ultimate bear, as people have been calling out in the comments. But I do hope that the general market can turn so that we can hopefully get some kind of momentum back, because this to me was definitely a taking the wind out of your sails moment for a lot of folks. And while long-term investors or people in the community will look at this as oh, it's just going to be a bump in the road, for the first time you have someone like yourself, Darkestnyte, who's just yeah, you know what, I think I'm going to buy something else for you know what I mean? Like, I mean, maybe I'll just like, so, but
Now, that said,
yeah.
my girl Lux, man, and that's my girl.
Is she looking good?
Oh
At
my
what,
God,
650?
she is. Well, not even the price, right? It's what
Mm-hmm.
she's doing out there on the battlefield, right?
Mm-hmm.
That card, nuts, absolutely nuts. Now again, I go from totally emotional. This is what's going on in the game to Lux, who changes everything, right? Have you played with your Lux yet? Have you been playing?
I have. Before we and I do want to talk about Lux Vega.
Yeah,
But before we do that, can we catch up on the chat?
Yeah,
So there's a lot of folks here, and I just want to say hello. But I wanted to give you some time, or give us some time to talk about last week since you hadn't had a chance.
Yeah.
So Harris is here. Stock Jockey, what's going on? Did you stay after Aggro spoke at DigiCon? Oh, I did not hear. I've not listened to the DigiCon thing. So I'll have to go back and check it out. So let's see. Kraken, good morning. Lotnick's here. Football Suns, Dion, Icy Flow. Wild Hog, you are awesome, dude. Thank you so much once again for your generosity. Rift Watchers, Rift Summoner, hello, Gathering the Magic. All right, Icy Flow saying, I like that Aggie made it sound like they're pivoting from push product production to improving the game. Yeah. I think that I don't know if they realize it just now or if they realized it before, but they need to focus on building a better product. And I don't know if you saw Hawk's video. So Hawks did a video covering one of my tweets, which
yes, I did. Yeah, I did.
And I was like, whoa, hey, look, Ma, I made it.
Yeah.
somebody people are making content off of my content. This is crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
No, he's a cool dude. It was a good video, but it was like, in that tweet, that was my main point, that I don't we don't need new players to come in. And this is what I always ask people. It's just like, or they're like, oh, we need new players. I'm just like, wait, why do we need new players right now? And I try to corner people and asking them that. And they're like, well, we want our assets to go up. They need to buy stuff. There's too many cars. I'm just like, oh, okay. So you're an investor. You're not a player, right? Because this tweet is meant for players. Right now, there's a playable game that's super fun and addictive. And I want a better game. I want more features. And more players coming into the ecosystem is not directly related to that. Like if we got 10,000 players tomorrow, it would just make assets more expensive and actually make the game experience worse for me because I'm not maxed out on my tech yet. So I don't want new players. I want them to focus on better game features and fixing, I don't mind them fixing the game economy because you need to do that before new players come in. But I also want them getting more features, more, better tournaments, better brawls, whatever.
Right.
So
if you're a player, you actually want the prices to tank. Totally.
I mean, at least until I get mine.
Exactly.
Until I get mine, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
So I guess this is a good time to be getting in.
It is.
Gather Magic agrees. All right, so talking about the survival of Splinterlands, the game, what is it that us community can do best to help the future? Is it buying nodes or packs or DEC? They very much want DEC to go back to PEG.
Just play. I mean, I would say just play.
Just play.
Have fun.
Yeah, okay, nodes definitely not. Packs goes towards the company, so maybe you can do a little bit of both, because if you buy packs with DEC, then you're taking it off the market, you're giving it to them, and then they're also getting that as company revenue. So what's going on, Clevin? What's going on, Iced NFT? Good morning. Dumped all my old bids, just a rebid to get the cards I need to fill out my deck. Very cool. Oscu's in the house. Oscu disagreed with me wanting to put packs on leaderboards, but I don't see any, unless they rework leaderboards, I don't see any other way that they can do it unless they do another proposal for SPS. So what's up, Jobby Santos? Hello. Best thing we can do is to spread the word about how great a game Splinterlands is. We need to get more people to join this community. We were just talking about no more players gathering the Magic. You did not get the memo. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, you definitely want to get more people. You definitely want to get more people in the game because you want them to play the game, right? Like, we want this community to grow. But again, that hot take was just for... Yeah.
I think I've always said this since we've always talked, right? For the last 6-7 months. I'm okay with getting new players, right? But it's about retention. You gotta
Yeah.
retain the ones that you already have, because they've already made the investment, right? And if they walk away from the game, something is fundamentally wrong.
Mhm.
So that's where, and again, if they're working on the play experience, new player, old player, I think that they're going to refocus on that. And I think that's a good thing.
Yeah, I just hope it doesn't take like a year. All right. So I don't know,
Right. But in a year,
I don't know. I don't know. I probably sound too bearish right now. I mean, here's the thing. I think that the team still has an incredible amount of very talented people on it, right? So, but we've seen delays. So there's, Weirdbeard was on one of the other streams saying like, the less is more, right? Less is more kind of approach, or leaner, meaner. I mean, you look at something. Another hot topic. You look at something like Twitter, which is going to have like 25% of the employees, but if they can build that kind of environment, then so somebody posted a tweet. This wasn't related to Twitter, but it's just like two engineers, like two artists. They're making it sound like, two artists doesn't mean the artwork is done twice as fast. And something like two engineers doesn't mean that the code is done twice as fast. I don't know. It was just,
right.
I was looking at that. I'm like, I'm not technical, but I can understand where you're coming from with that. So
all about scalability, right? So you think that it's twice as fast, but it's not really. In fact, it's going to be interesting, right? That they've downsized. A lot of those projects need to be transitioned to other people, and they're 70%, 60%, 50% completed. So it's like, it's going to be like, hey, someone's told you to write a song, and they've also given you another song and say, hey, finish Susie's work, finish the song for her. And you're like, I have no idea where she was going with that, right? So,
yeah,
or he, right? So that doesn't matter. So I think there's going to be at least a couple of months of just kind of reshuffling some stuff.
Come on, Susie, take good notes.
There we go. Take it. Exactly right. That's kind of funny.
All right, Tails is saying, anytime you hear about the possibility of the servers being unplugged, that will make you cautious. Agreed. Yeah, I agree. But maybe there is another thing we can do. They let us know. I mean, look, buy DEC. I think that buy DEC, buy packs. Here's the thing. They're going to burn packs. And those packs are supposed to be company revenue. So if you want cards and you want to help the company and you want to help the ecosystem, buy packs with DEC. So that is not financial advice. That is save the company advice, so, which holds all of your assets. Land in all caps was not a mistake. All right, so Stock Jockey agrees with you. Spread the word. Keep playing every day. Buy assets when you can. Javi saying we can spread the word, but still a bear market. People will be careful on investing their hard-earned money, especially on crypto. New players will only come when bull market comes in. Agreed. Agreed. Luthion's in the house. I can't stick around much. It's Daphne's birthday. Is she still here? Are you still here? Can we sing Daphne happy birthday? Or you can just replay this for her. Happy birthday, Daphne. Happy birthday, Daphne. Happy birthday. Oh, is it Daphnes? Oh my gosh, I read it wrong again. Daphnes. Happy birthday, Daphnes.
You're on a roll today, man.
I just can't get names. I'm just gonna start saying everybody's name.
No name Sunday. That's it. No more name.
Iced NFT. FTX Collapse has my NFT project on hold. Wait, tell me more about your NFT project, because I'm interested. Hello, Lithium. What's going on? Chris West, The Temptations, talking about my girl. Lux. I don't know what that was in reference to. Oh, okay. Let's get back to Lux now. All right, so hold on. There's still a lot of chat here. Okay, hold on. We will get to Lux, Darkestnyte, because I do want to talk about her. And you're gonna have to share because she's my girl too. But it's okay. Good morning, Andrew Johnson. Maybe this is a perfect time to breathe, enjoy your assets, prepare for updates. Yeah, I don't think we should expect anything crazy before the end of the year. I think it should just be surprise and delight if we get anything land related. So people in the MTG community are furious over management missing with the reserve list. Watch Alpha Channel. I'm not following anything with MTG, so I'm not sure. Make the game better and the new players will come. I think new players should join due to gameplay being rewarding rather than the chance to get rewards. Yeah, Matt needs to get on the town hall and talk about something. He talked about something internally, which I thought was great, and I thought you would resonate very well with, Darkestnyte. This is the last kind of like internal town hall meeting that they had, and he said he was going to speak about it at the next town hall, which never happened because they had other things that they needed to do. But it was going to be an address to players and how to like think about the game. So I won't spoil that. Okay, we're gonna leave off right here because I don't mind having the time to continue building my collection until next cycle. Yeah,
I agree.
There's such a thing as growing too fast, but getting more eyes on the game also elevates the potential for higher level competition, don't you think? I agree, but you need to build the infrastructure for higher level competition. I want to hold tournaments. I want to hold more tournaments here, but I want better features for tournaments. I would love for there to be ways in which you could reduce or remove potential botting of those tournaments. And I know, decentralization, blah, 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 all that. I'm not anti-bot, but I am pro-human. So, and I want... you like that? You like that?
I like that.
So,
pro-human.
I am pro-human, and so
trademark.
I am pro-human, and I want there to be opportunities for exclusive human competition, and I would love for there to be better ways for that to happen.
You are a humanist.
You are a humanist. Okay, so we will catch. Oh, we're almost caught up.
Yeah, we're good.
So Team Phoenix Rising, it's so good. Team Phoenix Rising, are you at all associated with a guild called Phoenix Rising? I would assume so.
Those are the guys. So Phoenix Rising are the guys out in Asia, if I remember correctly. So that's the People's Guild. I think they're part of that.
Really? Okay.
Yep.
Well, Team Phoenix Rising, you must be super happy right now. I love it. I love seeing all the bears come out and be like, I told you so. This team doesn't know what they're doing. And I'm just like, okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's come out of the ashes.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, it's just fun to see them because I'm just like, again, I'm trying to have empathy here. I'm just like, all right, like, I don't know if you just came to say I told you so. If you sold out months ago, I'm happy for you, but why are you still hanging around like giving everybody else shit about it?
Hey man, like, even a broken clock is right twice a day. Yeah.
But again, I don't think that this is a death blow for the team. So, but it is what it is. We'll let them celebrate. Okay, so phase 1 of land still by the end of the year. No, they've reduced it. It's now phase 0.5. So I don't know what that means, but probably non-card markets.
Reveal, 9-card market.
Somewhere between non-card market.
Your cards, right?
Non-card market was supposed to be phase 0. So wait, hold on. There was 2 things. Oh, tech modernization non-card market was supposed to be phase 0, and then land phase 1 was like trading your plots in for deeds or your claims for deeds, and then you'd be able to see where on the map that is. And I think that you'd also be able to see whether like its rarity and all that. Yeah.
That was supposed to come next month.
So we're going to get some combination of that. Not all of it, but some combination of that by the end of the year. You heard half the team got fired, 45% to be exact. Are you still part of the team? Did they fire Chatter? That guy's a bum. No, they did not fire Chatter. I don't think Chatter's a bum. And am I still part of the team? Honestly, guys, I don't know. I mean, yes, I am. Sorry, I'm not trying to make light of that. So I'm a contractor, okay? And so I think what they're doing with contractors right now, and I still need to wait for a little bit more information, is they're just scaling back hours or they're not putting out projects right now. I think it's going to be on an as-needed basis for a lot of the contractors. So this is, their restructuring and reorganizing was more so about probably a lot of the full-time employees that were there. So for me, if you guys have noticed, and I've said this several times, there hasn't been a lore in a while. And I just got clarification yesterday, actually, that there's like 1 or 2 projects that I need to finish up, and then I don't know what happens after that. So we'll see. Hopefully they do get back to lores, and we'll see when that stuff comes around. Yep. But, here's the thing. I know they want to keep doing things, right? It's just I think they need to wait for the dust to settle from all of this. Sorry, Darkestnyte, you were going to say?
No, I'm saying you mentioned lore, right? So Walking Keys and Jeff opens cards. We all were going through some of the lore cards. And I know we've joked about doing drunken lore, but it felt like we did a little of it the other night.
Oh, really? Nice. Okay.
So Jeff is a very talented guy, by the way, just so you know.
He's super cool.
Yeah.
I feel like he hates me because I didn't sell him my Rooney, but...
well, hey, there's still the future.
He wanted my fish Rooney, but then he got it from someone else. So hopefully he and I can be friends again.
Yeah. So Jeff actually voice acted the what's my favorite lore card? Gollum.
Oh, Chingong?
He actually voice acted that, and I thought it was hilarious, just awesome.
Yeah.
So
still need
the
to do
lore, I
the
think,
lore
is
at
going
some
to be big. Yeah, and it's funny because a lot of people don't read the lore in the cards, right? But the lore is really, really good, and that's one of the things that initially attracted me to the game, is that each card had lore associated with it.
Yeah, I they've spent so much time really building up the IP, intellectual property, around like the different characters. So, it would suck for that to not see any kind of future value or whatever. So
yeah, and I know we talked about this in the past. I would love to see a Splinterlands cartoon, or a comic, or something similar to that. Now, I know we have the stories that are put out on Splinterlands official, but I would love to see, something on Sci-Fi.
There's something coming. I don't know where it's at, considering all the news that just happened, but there's something being worked on, which they've talked about on the channel. But I like looking to the future. I would love to see. I mean, I think a Netflix like animated show.
Yes.
I don't know why I'm saying Netflix. Like it could be anything. But because I don't want it to be like kiddie. I want it to be like PG-13 plus, right?
Yeah.
So I want there to be, there's some real, mature themes in here, and people are obviously fighting and it's violent. So I would love to see something like that. Also, I told, I would love to be involved with something like that, because one of the things that I've always wanted to get into was voice acting. So I told, after I had my little one voice acting opportunity with the lore, because there was a bard in the lore. So I said like 2 lines, and I was just like, oh, I want to do more. Do I want more or less?
There we go.
I want more.
Yep. It's funny because Jeff just burst out into doing it. He didn't prep anybody. He just did it. And I was like, what's happening?
I need to go back and watch, because I think I only caught the second half. Is it in the beginning? Okay.
I got on late, so middle-ish, I guess.
Middle-ish? Okay. I was there for part of it, so yeah. All right, so just bought a maxed regular foil Aquatis for 108, max Fernheart for 180. Hope I made the correct decisions. Aquatis.
We were just talking about this, right? The sale on summoners right now is outrageous.
Okay, I mean, I need to go buy some cards then, I guess.
Well, if compared to where getting summoners was 2 months ago,
sure,
this is like the best time ever to max out some of those cards.
I think we're going to enter an interesting time here over the next 6 weeks, because if bearishness within the game and market remains, right? But they also provide some opportunities to buy a ton more cards, right? If they do that promo thing that Aggie was talking about in the town hall, that could be interesting, because there might be some real opportunity to get way more value than you deserve for your dollar, which is being inflated to infinity anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So turn it into hard assets, right?
Yep.
All right. Wilson's in the house. It is Daphne. Okay, so I read it. I read it wrong, but that was actually to my benefit. So she loved that. All right. Happy birthday, Daphne. Hope you have an amazing day. And I hope this year is the best year ever for you. All right. Let's get back to the discussion about Lux. So Wilson's in the house. Lux is saying sold his Rooney to get Lux. Now tell me, how has your experience been with Lux so far?
So I haven't used it yet, right? Because I delegated it.
Okay. So why are you so in love?
Well, exactly. Well, that's
it's like love at first sight here.
Yeah.
You haven't even gotten to know her.
I know, but you watch something from afar, and you just build up that desire. But I mean, first thing for me, artwork. That artwork, awesome. Right.
Agreed.
But just the fact of what it is, and if you remember, when I first heard that it was going to be a neutral summoner, and I said, man, I don't know, neutral summoner, I don't really think it needs any abilities. The fact that it's a neutral summoner and you can play it with anything,
that was like you being like,
good enough, right?
You're like, I've never met anyone like her, but she's my type.
Yeah, exactly. She goes wherever she's needed. So, but just the +1 speed, armor, and health.
Mm-hmm.
Like that card with death is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like it's just ridiculous because Death has never had anything like that, right?
Okay.
So you're able to, slide her in there, and she's like, "Come on, guys, let's go."
All right, hold on, we need to keep this PG-13.
Yeah. So no, it's good stuff. I mean, and I remember again. I keep bringing this up when Jim was asking Matt. He's like, "Dude, what were you thinking on the stats of the card, right?" And I was like, "Dude, the card is awesome." And it's now it's proving that how awesome it is, right? It really is proving it.
So you said something brilliant to me the other day, which we were comparing there's been a lot of comparisons to Archmage Arius, right? Because it's a similar kind of card where there's 3 attack types and there's 3 stats or not abilities, but stats, right? And so Archmage Arius was something that is for dragon, and it has a +1 in those 3 attack types, whereas Lux is neutral and it has +1 in all of the other
which
stats.
benefits every card.
Exactly. So you brought up something really important there. Now, are we saying that Lux is more valuable from a dollar perspective? Well, there's a lot more Luxes available, but it is more usable because you can use it a significant amount of the time. It's a significantly more amount of time. And as you said, it affects every available unit on the team, which I think is important,
especially ones that don't have attacks, right? So that's the thing. And I'll be honest, right? I have an Archmage Arius, but there are better options, and I don't play it nearly.
When would you play Archmage over Kitty?
When I want to flex.
Yes.
That's it. Because practicality, it's not super practical, right?
Yeah. Until they come out with a monster that has 3 attack types.
Yeah.
Or they have 6 of them.
Yes. That is when I use it, though, is when I'm going to use multiple attack types, right? Not like 2 on the same. But still, Kitty's still better, right? So, I mean, it wins way more. But Lux, again, if you're stuck in, gold and you want to play at that higher level, she's definitely proven that she can get you there, for sure.
I mean, the thing is, for 20 cents, you could rent a card you could probably use 90% of the time, right?
Yes.
To get to Diamond, which to me is like, there's an arbitrage there. I was expecting much higher rental prices, but part of me also thinks that maybe some of the player base is sitting this out. But
maybe
we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely. I mean, not financial advice, right? But this is definitely not a card you want to sit on the side of.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying that like the player base might have shrunk, right? Yeah. So I mean, we've been either losing players or players are taking a little holiday from the game. So I wouldn't be surprised if once things start to pick up again, hopefully you see Lux's value shoot up because people are like, oh, can I and look at summoner values right now, right? It's just like, should I buy, spend $500 to $1,000 maxing out all the summoners, or can I just rent Lux for 50 or for 20 cents, right?
Yeah.
And get 80% of the way there.
Yeah, there aren't a lot on the market, right? So and the price is right around, the floor is $725. That's a great, I think long term, right? I think that's going to be a long.
Part of me wishes that I was a whale just so I could buy all the Luxes and corner the market. Because like if there was ever a card to corner the market with, I feel like that would be one.
Yeah, maybe
our guild can do it.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, yeah. Darkestnyte 30 minutes ago saying, yeah, I'm not going to spend any more. And then he goes in and buys out 15 Luxes.
I would love to. So.
All right, let's catch up on some of the chat because I do see Weirdbeard here in the house. So what's going on? Shout out to Weirdbeard. All right, so Dennis is saying, imagine GLX token when baseball or basketball comes out and new players come in for this. Dennis, I love it. It's too speculative for me though. So like we have no idea what's happening with GLX. I think soccer or GLG, whatever that is, MLS needs to succeed first, and then we'll see what comes next.
I've been converting a lot of my GLX into SPS actually. Lately.
Smart, nice.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Gene Pool has been huge with the math for like stacking as much GLX. I have been happily selling for above 25 cents. So I'm it's half and half, and I'm just happy to take my ice cream money. Yep. So bot neutral yet pro-human, 2 factions classic. Agreed, Dennis. Stacking GLX as best I can. Poor Chatter getting all the hate. He's a cool dude. I wish I had actually spent more time talking to him, but he was super busy at Splinterfest. So Spider Tanks and God.
The job he has during the bear market, it's an impossible job, right? But we're still here every day, and he gets good information out. I think there's not anything that's a surprise to us that he's responsible for. So I think we're good.
Yeah. So he's saying Spider Tanks and Gods Unchained have advertisements everywhere. Chatter is doing nothing to advertise the game in that manner. I actually think that this is a terrible idea at a bear market, Team Phoenix Rising. How many people are you going to get clicking on a crypto game right now? Here's the thing. If they put whatever money that they're going to spend on what's that called? Advertising, and put it towards some kind of game development, I think that you just got to be patient, wait for the bear market. People will roll in for that game development, right? Whether that's tower defense or some other type of arcade game that they can come up with.
I've seen those ads all the time, and I haven't played neither of those games, right? But if you call me and say, "Hey, man, you got to try this game," what am I going to do? I'm going to say, "Okay," I'm going to say, "Loading right now."
Yeah.
Check it out.
Speaking of which, remember when we used to play Undead Blocks? That
yes,
game?
I was just thinking that. That's exactly what I was thinking.
I'm still in their Discord, so I get a bunch of stuff from them. But I haven't jumped back in, so I'm curious to see how that's doing.
I haven't either. Right.
But this is the time. This is the time when you got to go shop it and see what else is in the market. Chatter gets the blame because of feud and no new players coming in. But what we don't see is no matter what marketing is done, bear market's still upon us. Yeah, I agree. Like, you can see awesome ads from other companies. What you can't see, Team Phoenix Rising, is how effective those ads are. Like, how much is Gods Unchained growing right now? I don't know. And so I'm not trying to be, combative about it, but until you can show me both sides of the data, right? That they are running this amount of ads more than Splinterlands, and they're also getting this amount of players. So therefore their acquisition cost per player is such and such. I don't, it means nothing to me. I'm not saying that you don't have an argument. I'm just saying that your argument isn't valid until you can back it up with data.
I would say, to be honest, right, that's it's called a conversion, right? So if you'd have Splinterlands players converting to Gods Unchained, we would know it as a community. We would absolutely know that because we have an affinity for those types of games. We're not seeing that. At least I don't think we're seeing it. Or have you played Gods Unchained? Same here, right? So, and no matter how good it is, right, we're just not seeing.
I heard it's a good game.
Same.
But I came here to make money first. So Splinterlands, I think, is the best opportunity still.
And I already have a good game, right? So so
So the other man is saying, I only have 800. Was spending some of my earnings. Splinterlands assets. Okay, cool. Make it an anime and make it dope.
Yes.
So Weirdbeard with the awesome. Do you watch anime?
Oh God, yes.
Okay, I don't, and I feel like I'm missing out.
Yeah, my kids will come over, and I don't watch much regular television. Actually, I refuse to watch regular television. But anime is some of the best writing, best storytelling.
Yeah,
really complex, content. It's awesome, and it makes you think. Right, you have to think when you watch anime.
When you watch it,
can't watch it mindlessly. Right, so.
Okay. I just never gotten into it. I have started watching more adult animated shows. So what was the one that I watched? Not recently, but
try Attack on Titan. That's a good one.
I've heard good things about that. On Prime there were two. So there's Invincible. If you watch that, which is really good. I actually really like that one. It's like a comic book. That's on Amazon. Yeah, Prime.
Yeah.
I watched that, and then there's another one, which is an interesting project that was like funded by a Kickstarter with some people out in LA. Oh gosh, I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
It's something with dragons, but
if it has dragons, I'll definitely.
Oh yeah. Oh wait, no, you'd love this. Shoot, I can't. There's like a little bard. He's like a short dude that plays guitar, and he's like super quippy. Oh man, if anybody knows what the show is, I'm trying to see if people can. Sorry, go ahead.
One you have to watch. So I watched it last night. Actually, it's like the third time I've watched it. It's called Record. I think Record of Ragnarok.
Record of Ragnarok.
Record or Record. Ragnar? Whatever. It's on Netflix, and it's awesome. It's humans fighting against gods in an arena, and it's very Splinterland-ish, if you will. So it's on the first season. It's really good. Very funny. Has some humor. Good stuff.
Okay.
So,
I will check it out. All right, so hold on. Weirdbeard, we're still catching up on chat, but I see that you're active here. I want to ask just very directly, in your opinion, Weirdbeard, and if you could just give us a little snippet, if there's any way, can we as a community do to help you bring us all the cool stuff you're trying to bring us? Like if you can make a direct ask to the people who watch this channel, watch this stream, I would love to get a movement behind that, because now there's an argument to be made that the team is probably hyper focused on delivering certain things and experiences. So my question for you is, what can we do to help you achieve all of your targets and goals? All right, so Iced NFT saying, I'm producing custom beverages on a commercial scale for Web3 projects. That's cool. To be able to have a strong presence. I was just going to say, this might be something you're interested in.
I'd like to hear more about
There's
that.
An Iced NFT Drunk Lore collaboration happening.
Yes, right there.
This episode of Drunken Lore is brought to you by Iced NFT.
Yes.
Watch, it's not actually, but whatever. So why don't we have advertise? Oh, he's asking Weirdbeard. All right, so Vance Brown, another new name. Welcome to the stream, Vance Brown. I'm a little late to the party. They did say they lost only 5 of 23 game techs, so they should be able to deliver. Agreed, hopefully.
Yeah, it's not a lot, actually. I mean, considering, right? I mean, it depends on what they were working on, right? I would figure they were working on non-critical game updates, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
So, like Battle 2.0, right? That might be something that's backburnered quite a bit.
Yeah. So, Riber is replying saying, we do marketing has not seen a massive budget. We can make ads, but we need a team that can produce them and have money behind it. Man, we were just remember that Call of Duty ad?
Yes.
You said to me again, and I was just like, I can't wait until someone else can do something like that.
Yes.
I would love to, man. It'd be fun to do. Like,
yeah.
I wonder if we could get a crowd-funded community project. Like hire some kind of I wonder A, how much that would cost, and then B, where we could find. Okay, well, I'm not talking about we all get some crazy, but it'd be fun to think through stuff like that. So I don't know. For me, the community here is special, or seems special, I should say. And everybody's trying to help get this project off the ground. So I don't know. It'd just be fun.
So what After Santa is talking about, there is a game advertisement.
What's it called? Duty?
Codnapped. No, Codnapped.
Yes, Codnapped.
Right.
I'm going to post it in the chat.
Yeah, post it in chat. Because it's one of the best game advertisements I've ever seen. And years later, I still send it out to all my friends because it directly relates to how we are when we're playing and the things that we get frustrated with and the solution to said problem. It's awesome. And I said, wouldn't it be great to have a Splinterlands version of this video? So,
how do I share this? Oh, copy link address. Let's see if this works. All right, so feel free to leave the stream and go watch this so that you get the reference.
Yeah, it's good stuff. It's really good stuff.
Right. Okay, so let's see here. I'm not sure. Oh, whoa. What do we miss? Hold on. Oh, you guys are all talking to one another. I don't know if I should go through all of this chat. Oh, we missed. Okay, so thanks, Weirdbeard. Happy birthday to Daphne. Oh, okay, that's what she's saying. Kelia at $2.70 is tempting indeed. Dev team was mainly untouched for the most part, trimming lots of the margins that won't affect promised projects. Cool. Good to know. Weirdbeard giving the real alpha here. Let's go. Have you reached out to Splinterlands team to connect? Wait, what? Is Ice NFT something that's supposed to do with Splinterlands? Because I was just kidding about Drunken Lore, but we can definitely make that happen.
Oh, we're doing Drunken Lore, dude.
Are we planning to do ads? Have you seen the ads? Man, we could probably get some serious, some serious money behind that. If we got to deliver a good product, but
oh, I can be drunk.
All
For
right,
sure.
who actually? Let's throw a little wish list out there. What is your beverage of choice that you would be drinking during Drunken Lore that we'd be able to go to the company and say, hey, would you like to sponsor this episode of Drunken Lore? Give us your wish list. I need specific.
You want a
names.
specific brand or you want a specific type?
Oh, wow. Brands.
Yeah. Brand. Oh, that would be interesting. Can I get back to you on that?
Sure.
Because I don't want to just shoot from the hip on that one, because that's going to be, I think.
Okay. All right. But I mean, something to think about. Cool. If we can get Drunken Lore out there.
Yeah, it would have to be something fantasy related, right? For sure.
Yeah. Are we planning to do ads? When they do Everest and Not Us. All right, hold on. Weirdbeard wants to come on. Wait, Weirdbeard, did you say that?
Oh, that
Am I missing
awesome.
something? We would love to chat with you, Weirdbeard. Bring in Weirdbeard on the stream. Oh shoot, I am so behind on chat. Oh, want me to come on stream and explain? Yes, I do want you to come on.
Okay.
Let's do it. Okay, sorry guys. We're just not going to be able to catch up with all the chat. I will do my best to try later. But Weirdbeard, I'm going to post this link in the chat here. Oh, I can send it to
and then everybody's going to jump in. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. I posted it in the chat.
Yeah.
People have been really respectful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Gather the Magic, for sending me a message. Because again, I mean, there's too many people in here. There's too many people in here. I can't keep up with the chat anymore.
And it's early.
What did I tell you guys?
Sunday,
don't hit the like button. Don't hit the share button. I don't want any more people in here because then I can't keep up with the chat. Stop telling your friends about this stream. I'm just kidding. I love y'all. I told you I got to zig when others are zagging, right? So, what's that?
I said it's Sunday morning and people are up and they're engaged.
It's early Sunday morning too.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. All right. So I sent Weirdbeard the link. We'll wait until he hops in. We can be advertising. Let's see. I'm trying to see if there's some other comments that we can talk about. Do the same as After Sound 50/50, staking and selling. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna feel bad about it. Like if it falls, then I'll buy more. If it goes up, then I took my ice cream money and I'm happy with it.
Yeah,
Gene was a genius.
Interesting. So from your standpoint, right? I mean, I've started doing like you do, right? Take profits here and there more often than not, and I've felt really good that I've done that. So if things do go down a little bit, it's okay.
It's something that I just wish I had been doing when the market was up. But you get FOMO'd into it. Now I'm just like, I need to put something into place. I need to have regular something just to show for it, right? And especially after crazy week like this past one.
Yeah.
Weirdbeard, did you get it? Yeah, I sent you the link on Discord.
Luthien liked the ad. Yeah, it's awesome.
Crypto, anything right now? Uphill battle. Oh, fair enough. I just watched the ad. Yeah, I know, it's great, isn't it? I don't know if you guys watched the movie Snatch, but that's the only other place that I know that actor from, and he's awesome. My brother's an MTG player, and he won't touch crypto at all. Not surprised. I don't think we should be going. I know, another hot take. We shouldn't be going after MTG players. They don't give a hoot about crypto. We should be going after other people, other crypto game communities. So,
or just make a great product and people will come, right?
Yeah.
I mean, again, I found the game through a Brave app.
Yep. Anime is what Marvel wishes it was. No cap.
Oh,
Cowboy Bebop. Oh, see. Oh, so Weirdbeard watches Invincible as well.
Yep.
Watch Tokyo Sinks. It's good and short. Okay. Cool. I heard the Cowboy Bebop show was so bad that they canceled it. So is that worth watching still? I'm sure. Sorry, I know that there's a Cowboy Bebop. Yeah. There's an anime, but the new Netflix one, live action, was.
I didn't watch it.
I was excited to watch it, but then they got such bad reviews. Weirdbeard, I don't know if you didn't get the link or what, but
he'll make his way in. Yeah, my son has me watching Chainsaw Man right now, which is actually pretty good. It's a new one. It's on Crunchyroll.
Crunchyroll. Okay.
Yeah, it's
so much content out there. You really got to cut through the noise.
Yep.
Yeah. Hey, my question brings Weirdbeard on the stream. Yeah, what was your question? Now I missed it. I mean, I'm just curious because I'm skipping through it. Summoned me. What's I Got 5 on it, aside from the song? I got 5 on it. Why did the Wizards sell to Hasbro? Were they going broke? What, Wizards of the Coast? I have no idea. I have so many connections with the art communities on.
Yeah.
Weirdbeard's got all the connections. Let's go. All right, so this is when we posted the COD napped. We need a montage.
Yeah.
Hendrix Gin. Are you a Hendrix Gin drinker?
Yes, but
he had to get set up. Here we go. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Is he there? Is he coming in?
Yeah, he's on.
Okay.
Let's do it. Okay. All right. Do we need some like crazy introduction?
I got you.
And now you're starting. No, I'm just sorry.
Let's do Wayne's
You can tell I'm a
World.
Bulls fan, right?
Let's do Wayne's World. We are not worthy. We are not worthy. Sorry. All
right, let's stop wasting time and get weird. My man, what is going on? How are you?
Oh my God, I'm live. I'm here.
I know. This is crazy. First time
we are not worthy.
Here. I know. I hang out. I try to hang out in a bunch of streams, but I recently realized that you also were live streaming, and so now I've got you tagged in the list. So whenever I see you guys live, here to hang out, dog.
Yeah, man. You're welcome to come through and chat anytime. So.
All right. Do I sound okay? Do I look okay?
Channel. I mean, we've loved you on this channel for a long time, so this is like a dream come true. Actually, meeting you at Splinterfest was awesome,
right? But it was fun.
Yeah. So how can I ask first? How are you doing? I'm sure the past week was probably pretty rough, just with all the stuff going on. How are you doing?
I'm chilling. That sounds like shitty, right? Like I'm not trying to be, but I mean. When Aggie said stoicism, like one of my best friends was fired this week. He was our partnerships manager, Robbie, that you met out there.
Yeah, I did meet Robbie.
While I feel really bad, but like I have so many irons in the fire. Like all day Thursday and Friday, I was doing late night meetings with our overseas people, and I was like, dog, like this is an opportunity, and I don't feel excited to say that, but like. When you go through transitional changes like this, right? Yeah. And it's not even like a power vacuum situation. It's much more of like, hey, the company right now is deciding what to do. Like, they are deciding what are the items that are going to now move and take precedence. And it's like, if everything's been gridlocked for so long, this is the thing that it just breaks everything open. And then, the higher ups are going, okay, what do we do? And that's where like, I've been plotting and planning and being like ready for a moment like this. And I wish it wasn't through like firing half of the company, but yeah. A market move like this was bound to happen in the depths of a bear market, in what felt like continuing community animosity and running into that brick wall of like speaking one language and having other people speak something different. And so it's like you felt something was going to happen. So while I'm happy to still have a job, like that's the base level, right? Like you should just be like, yeah, I have a job. That's cool. But now like, we have a set time period in front of us. And I'll tell you, it's not money. I will frankly just be completely transparent. Splinterlands as a company is not going to be going like ass up anytime soon. The bigger issue is, will the humans that are part of this company and steer this company correct the direction that they're on? Right? Like, okay. I think that's the bigger. Everybody's so afraid of the books of Splinterlands, and it's like I don't think that the books are hurt more by the crypto market than necessarily like the game going kaput. But it's the like the directional changes and what the focus is, and what are we prioritizing, what are we not prioritizing. That's the true world ender, as opposed to like, oh, sorry, we don't have any money, time to not do this anymore. Like they have plans for running a skeleton crew if they need to, right? Like there are people that are just like, to keep the lights on, keep the infrastructure. Here's like, we need X amount of bodies just to fill the seats.
Just to keep going,
Yeah, and they have plans for that, but that's not where we're at. And B, definitely probably not the case. You know what I mean? It's it would only get to that if the lessons of this fracture weren't learned from. If it like happened and they just went, well, we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing, like that, you know, that's what would lead to that. So I'm very energized at the moment, and my fiance is, I guarantee you, gonna come in here and start yelling at me any minute. She's like, "It's Sunday and you're working. Why are you doing this?"
It's not work at this point. Right?
Not right now.
Fun. This is fun.
But yeah, so I mean, it's like I was on, like I said, phone calls late Thursday after the town hall. Literally, as soon as the town hall ended, I had meetings and calls that I jumped into to be like, all right, here's our plan. Here's some of the things that we want to do. How do we do it now with the people that we have here, and what's the way to start moving through the, you know, through the ocean? Because I don't know how much like corporate experience you guys have. Working in radio and TV, that was corporate world, right? Like I've gone through so many massive layoffs and cuts and like restructurings and all this kinds of stuff. And the thing you have to learn about it that I think a lot of the people in this company have never experienced, because they weren't like corporate people to begin with, is that the channels have opened. Like the water is flowing currently, and it won't forever. There will eventually be solidified like a power structure within the company of, here's how you do it, here's the people that you have to go to, here's what we've said is prioritized. And the only time that will ever be changed again is by another massive meteor hitting the company and like boom, blowing out a whole bunch of new people that, you know, got hired and changed around, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, I talked a lot there, but
No, it's great. I think obviously Darkestnyte has some corporate experience. So do I in the past. It's like this, I guess I'll say, like, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's usually around this time when, you know,
Every
October,
time.
November, when layoffs hit. So I think there was probably just a little optimism that, you know, with all the sellouts and everything that was happening around, you know, the launches, people weren't feeling the bear market within Splinterlands yet, but it clearly is there. It's just that, you know, it's a tough time. It's a tough time. And I think I don't know how much. Again, I know that there's no FTX contagion, but to me, like that was the first time. Even though I didn't have anything on FTX, that was like a time where I'm just like, oh, okay, like, yeah, stuff's not done breaking yet, right? So
yeah, and because remember, it's not even just like when a nuclear bomb goes off. Yeah, if you're right underneath it, you're fried. Like you're done for.
Mm-hmm.
But it's even more dangerous for the radiation waves and the shock waves that come out of it, that you may be miles and miles away, and all of a sudden you're standing at your window and just poof, it goes back. And it's like, we have to remember that not just the FTX, which is kind of the cherry on top, but like over the past 9 months of it, while we may be still doing sellouts within the Splinterlands community, every single cost has doubled or tripled to just keep things running, right? Like you saw Amazon did all those layoffs. Where do you think that our servers are hosted from, right? Like we don't just have our own basement farm that we're running. We have it to where it's like outside third-party vendors to even get our stuff done. Prices go up, everything's being squeezed. So it's like, even though we're making money, it's less about not having anything right now and more about like, hey, if this squeeze continues to happen, like you don't want to be put in a position of just being like, oh, well, hey, everybody go shake the couch cushions for some change so we can keep the servers on today. You know, it's like, they're again corporate handlers, and I think that's an issue with this community, is that they're so used to having like access. Like you don't have access to Jerry Jones, right? Like you can't just hit up the head of an NFL team and be like, hey man, why are you spending so much money on this stuff? Like there's that wall, whereas here there's no wall, so people feel like it's like their friend is just overspending on dinner and shit. And it's much more like, no, they're having to be corporate stewards, and they have to go, well, you know, we need to have at least this many months in the bank. And like, it's not fun, but it's definitely just a reality check of like safety, you know, like safety sucks. We could play it loose and fast, but then you have a much higher risk of it being like, hey, guess what? It's January and the game doesn't work anymore.
Well, you know, to your point, how many companies after they go layoff, after they conduct a round of layoffs, will have the CEO go into a public live stream and talk about, you know, the status and health of the company, right? In a very, hopefully people will view it as a transparent way. So I agree with you. I mean, it's a tough thing for the community. It's a tough pill to swallow for anybody, but I've talked to many people who are quote unquote bullish, right? Because it's like this is the company doing what it needed to do to ensure the long-term sustainability. So I don't know if you posted an ad, or sorry, not, I don't know why I said ad. I posted a comment though to my direct ask of,
Yes.
you know, what are you working on now, and how can we help you? Because you and I have talked about this at length. I get hyped whenever I talk to you because I think I share a lot of the same visions of the future of the game. So I'm just curious, like, what are you working on, and how can we as a community help you bring that to life, or bring it, maybe more importantly, to the team's attention that this is like where, you know, we as a community want the team to be or the game to be focusing on.
I have 3 things that are going to be brought into reality, at least discussion wise, within the next week. And none of this has hit like the presses yet. So this is much more of like a beta look into the mind of Weirdbeard. But this is stuff that I've been percolating on for a while. And the main issue is more all these 3 things need to be done. It's what needs to be done first to ensure the health of the company and the health of the player base, right? So it's like we need to look at it as there's 3 things and there's 3 steps we have to take. 1 is health of the company. 2 is the like outreach and like support of the community so that we start making people think that Splinterlands isn't dying. And the 3rd one is outreach. So it's boom, boom, boom. And we need to organize which of these 3 things go into which of those 3 categories so that we know that we're not like doing something now that's like really cool, but it doesn't help the health of the company and also doesn't bring a new cool. So understand that with the caveat that all of this is important. And like on a side corollary, the bots and talk about bots is a different conversation because that's a technology conversation, not a what do we do conversation, because I think the line has been cast on that. So there's headway being made on that, but it's much more of like a what can we do? What are we able to do? How expensive is it to make sure to, you know, like, because cheat making in Call of Duty is an ever evolving race. You fix one thing, they find a new thing. You fix it, they find a new thing. Yeah. And you like, they're always building on that. So that's like again, side, put that in a box. We can talk about that. Here are the 3 things. First thing, draft mode tournaments. Reason why draft mode tournaments is important to me. 1, selling of Chaos Legion packs. It makes it so we're not burning a whole bunch of that shit. It brings in money to people in the company. It's something that is a community event. It's a new mode, which always gets people that are either lapsed players or like on the outside, like, oh yeah, this is fun. You know, it's the feeling of Friday Night Magic. That's what we're going after, is the ability of getting everybody together in a room going, oh my God, this is so much fun. And even if you get your ass kicked, you walk away not only with cards, but the experience of like playing and being like, oh my God, can you believe how terrible I drew? That was the worst thing ever. Oh yeah. And it also, draft mode tournaments will not be botted, I assume, because it doesn't make a lot of sense to have like imperfect data that you never, you know what I mean? Like they just, like you could do the tool assisted stuff, but then that's not really like what I consider a bot, right? Like a bot is you set it, you forget it, you never touch it, and it just extracts value. Draft mode tournament is interesting, but I think it's the lowest priority of these 3 things. So I'm going to give you my take, and then I'm very open to being like, hey, no, move it up or down the list, right? So that's number 3. Number 2, most important, a battle pass. Here's why a battle pass is so important to me. Because the battle pass is something that is going to make people and players engage with more aspects of the game. It makes it so that you don't just do a battle. I mean, I'm sure everybody here is familiar with like the Fortnite battle pass or everything else, right? It's guaranteed income for the company, because studies have proven that if you buy a battle pass, 70% of the people that buy a battle pass once continue to buy it for at least 5 battle passes afterwards. Even like I'm talking a $20 purchase every 2 months. It is the as Gank likes to call them, the movie and a dinner crowd. It's people that aren't going to go and spend
every 2 months or every 2 weeks.
2 months.
Oh, okay. So it's not per season. Okay.
No. This is like, this has to be big, right? Like this is a chunky boy of like 100 levels where you have daily, weekly, and season quests that you have to complete along the way. Okay. And all the things in the battle pass are not monetary. They are not DEC and SPS. Maybe we do some low-level cards, and like if you complete the battle pass, it goes from a common to a legendary card. You know what I mean? By going all the way through, and it's an auto leveling system.
Yeah.
Or you do skins, titles, card borders, NFTs to be able to display in a trophy case, like all things that are not bottable, because bots can't get those. They don't care about skins. You know what I mean? Like maybe there's a secondary market for selling and transferring those. But I think a lot of it is soul-bound items and things that real players want and use and get excited about, right?
Yeah.
But again, I think it's a constant money stream that then becomes the like P-rock of your garden, right? Like it's not going to make it beautiful. It's not going to pay all the bills. But if we can count on, hey, you don't need to launch a card set every, 2 months. You don't need to do this whole game shakeup every single time. Here you go. It's a battle pass. So it takes creative effort and resources to fill the battle pass with things people want, but you make it so that it's a way that people are able to get in, get things that they like, and then also have a free battle pass so that they get a quarter of the items or whatever it is. But you had the trick is, and I don't know if you guys know this, they always include just enough in like the Fortnite, Call of Duty, Apex, Overwatch battle pass, so that if you complete it all the way through for 2 seasons, you can then buy the battle pass going forward. So it's like
for free.
Yeah, it's like a flywheel. We're supposed to reach out to those, people who don't have money, who can't spend $800 on a Lux Vega. Get them in there, get them some fun shit, so that even if it's not, something that they're doing every single time, that they're able to still get something. And you want them to be sticky. That's the biggest complaint I see people talk about with new players, is that they come in, they play for a week or two, and then they're gone, right? Because A, they get dumped into ranked, and it's the most miserable experience ever. But B, because it's like, if you're not interested in the tokenomics, you're just like running into a wall in ranked. There's nothing else. You're not told what to do. You're not told, hey, go rent a card. Like that would be hey, you get a battle pass level for renting a card on the market. You get a battle pass level for running 10 death splinters, over a week. You get a battle pass level for entering a fray or joining a guild or something like that. Like entering a tournament or like do a challenge with one other player and win. Like just little things like that it's a teaching lesson without telling them explicitly, hey, make sure you go to our card market and rent a card. Like if they see rent a card in the market, you go, I want that battle pass level because it has a skin. Like, click, I'll rent whatever stupid Gargoyle Lion I can. And then even if they don't use that card, right, they are taught that's how you go to the market to rent a card. Like it's education without education. They call it invisible education in gaming, like slang, right?
Sure.
I think it's secondarily important. The number one most important item is something that I hope to bring into this world, and it is a free-to-play version. And bear with me. Here's what we do. It's a weekly version. Okay, so every single week I will put out. It's like a ghost card tournament almost, but it's not a tournament. So just bear with me as I explain. Instead of having every single card available, you're going to have a randomly generated set of cards that we pick, and a randomly generated set of rules, and a randomly generated set of mana. And that exists for the entire week. It makes it so that, like, hey, instead of having every single card, we're going to kick out some of the really good ones, make sure there's some garbage in there that you're forced to have to interact with, and just like get people exposed to the cards and the games. They only have certain rules and certain mana sets. It won't be botted because it'd be impossible for every single week for bots to gain enough data on a random card set, random rules, and random mana to always know what the hell to be doing in there, right? There's no ability. You're not playing with like, oh, I need to play meta, I need to do this. You're just literally going in and being like, hey, this is fun. And instead of having it be live battles like a tournament, right? You make it to where every time that you hit submit, your team is essentially snapshotted. Like, boop, take a picture, and it goes into a bucket. So every time somebody's competing with that rule set and that mana cap, they're not going live against another player. It's not Aftersound against Darkestnyte. It's Darkestnyte against somebody else that submitted a team maybe 2 days ago, maybe a day ago, maybe an hour ago. Like, but it's already submitted. So it's not like live head-to-head, I'm matching up against this person. It's just, these are the other teams that people submitted and want to play for here. this has a dual kind of thing. Like I said, I don't think it's going to be botted, and if it is, we can tweak it to make sure that we go out.
Are there going to be
right?
rewards? Are there going to be like financial rewards from it?
So it will be more about the new player experience. So it'd be like low level cards, it'd be battle pass tokens, it'd be not necessarily skins and titles, but things along that same kind of feeling of like, hey, we're giving away passes to be able to enter into any tournament you want for free, or like things that just essentially make it so new players stick. Like we'd have to really do some due diligence about that, but like make it focused on getting those players to not go into ranked first. There is no competitive AAA title that the first fucking thing you do when you join a game is go play in ranked mode. It's ranked. It's supposed to be for people who know what's going on. This is our unranked mode. This is our ability to get people in the game and they just go, this game is so much fun. You're going to hear people say like, oh, well, there's going to be people that only play that. Yes, there will be. There will be maybe 30%, 40% of people that go and play this like unranked mode essentially and never leave and never enter the paid ecosystem. But they can at least say, I like this game. It's fun, it's enjoyable, and you hope maybe after a month or two that they get hooked and they want to go in and they do want to eventually dive in.
You will convert some of them, or you'll get their word of mouth telling other people about this cool game they're playing.
Yes, and the other aspect that I want to preach about this, it's the new mobile experience, because you don't have to make it so that there's transactions. There's no transactions that go on. And that's the largest issue with the mobile game, is that you cannot have transactions happening. So you do this mobile version that's essentially available on PC and desktop as well. That really focuses on the fun aspect of the game. People love it. And then you convert them and they get these items from, like if you win a whole bunch over the weekly, then you level up and you're able to get better and better rewards by playing the weekly more often. I think this is of the utmost importance to start working on, like now. Like I said, it starts to solve that new player experience. New player experience also means we need better tutorials. We need better education on what the game is and all that kind of stuff. But in the meantime, let's put a tourniquet on it and try to get this weekly free mode out. And I think free to play really scares a lot of people because they think it like devalues card value, because all of a sudden, but these people aren't owning the cards. It's like everybody always asks for a practice mode or an ability to go and like interact and challenge their friends and play with this. Well, that's kind of hard because it's like a bot training ground. Usually if I give you the tools to just run as many matches as you want with all the cards, they're just going to train themselves to death on it. So why don't we look at this weekly
collect the
mode?
data?
Yeah, we do this weekly mode that it's all imperfect data that they can't train off of. It allows new players to have a place where they go where it's not, they're still going to get their asses kicked if they're brand new, but they're not going to feel like, oh, I don't have any cards. I'm just getting stomped by bots. I don't understand what's going on in bronze. This is too hard. I'm out. Like, because they're able to like do it with no, not even in like a RP system. There's no ELO in this. You would still be able to compete. You know what I mean? Like you're in there, and sometimes you're going to get, of course, you're going to get buzzsaws, but other times you're going to get somebody who's just as dumb as you are, and they're going to submit the team, and you're going to be like, oh, I thought like something will click, and you'll get why it happened, and then you start doing that, and then once you move from there to ranked, it's reset, and you have fewer cards, and it's much more. But you kind of have the strategy of like, how do I get out of this? I know that like when I was playing in the weekly, I really liked playing with this one card, and this card seemed to always, the few wins that I got was why I did that. I need to go get that card. The battle pass will have already educated them on how to go rent a card, how to go onto the market. And if they really feel like they're just getting their shit stomped and ranked, instead of bashing their head into the wall, they go back to play the free weekly. You know what I mean? Like do a little bit more education and learning back there.
You could also have a linkage into Discord, right? If someone's struggling, direct them to Discord where people like them are learning the game as well, right? I didn't discover Discord for like 6 months.
Yeah. And it's like one of the things is even with the weekly. So I play a game, and I've talked about this to a lot of people and they judge me. So don't judge me too hard. It's called Super Auto Pets. It is an auto battler that uses meme animals. It's meme animals, and you set your team, and the animals all have like different abilities, right? And so it's like it's kind of inundating at the very beginning. But one of the best things that the community does is because they use this weekly feature. is that every week, even really experienced players have to relearn the meta. So they all get together at the beginning of the week on Reddit and then their Discord, and they go, okay, what animals are available this week? And they draw out the tier list, and they go, okay, well, this animal isn't available to activate this animal's ability. So even though they have this animal in there, it's garbage. But then next week, because the 2 may be in there, they go, oh shit, there's both of those animals. It's amazing this week. Like it's S tier. It's an auto pick. So it's like, it's ever evolving meta. It makes it so that you're not just playing the same freaking cards over and over again. You don't have to have anything because you're being given an imperfect deck to where some weeks cards will be good, some weeks cards won't be good. And it's like, then you're actually learning the game and not what cards you need to have to win, which is what the current like education system in the player community really kind of boils down to. Like, you're not taught when you go into bronze, here's the way to really do it. It's, oh, you just need to rent X, Y, and Z, and then you'll be able to fly through, right? That doesn't teach me why this shit is happening. It doesn't teach me how the interactions go and like why this is, a real thing. So, yes. So those are my 3 grand plans. The plan is that the weekly would have to be decided by leadership because it's like a whole pivot to introducing a free-to-play mechanic.
Yeah.
The battle pass is a proposal, and I hate proposals because I hate people. Like, I don't want to get signed on from anybody. But the thing about a proposal is that you now have a certain number of people come in and they say, yes, we want to buy this. And then you can start putting a dollar amount on it. You can go like, hey, Aggie, even though, this may not be a ton of money every month or 2 for this battle pass, we've had X number of people vote and say that they're in favor of including it. They may not all buy it. Let's say 60% of the people buy it that vote for it. That's how much kind of revenue we're sort of just looking at offhand that we're able to bring in consistently. And then when it comes to the draft mode tournament, I think that's an outreach thing. I think that's community still kind of like calling for it. But the first real thing is like trying to get this community on board and understand that like when I start talking free to play, I'm not devaluing cards. I don't want to go out and like crash assets or anything like that. But we are in a bubble, not one that I'm saying is going to burst, but I'm saying it's a bubble in that it's contained. We talk to ourselves. We don't do outreach. Yeah. It's very opaque and hard to get these new players. Yeah, it's really hard to get these new players in. Well, in a market, everybody talks about, well, we need to talk about how much money you can make. No. You don't talk about that right now. When everything's good, sure, you can talk about it all you want. But we talk about the fun and mechanics of the game because we need to educate a player base. Like right now, one of the solutions that Ghost Card tournaments kind of solved was like, if I were to go to a large Magic the Gathering streamer and they're pissed off about all the stuff going on in Magic right now and they want to jump ship. And I go, hey, I want you to educate your fan base, your viewers about this game. The only way to get them in is through a Ghost Card tournament because it's impossible to tell them, hey, you need to go on stream and you need to purchase all these assets or rent all, or be given all this stuff. And then even if that's okay for you, your players and your viewers are going to be shit out of luck. They're going to not have anything that they're able to do. And there's no way to just onboard them. And if they are playing the weekly and they go, wow, this weekly's so fun, you guys can join in too. Come on, come play the weekly. Here you go. Let's do this. And they all jump in, they start playing, and then you convert, like I said, 40% of them over into the actual paid ecosystem. Like those two things can operate within themselves and really lock up the competition because, again, like Hearthstone, you just download and you can play something and it's not ranked. Magic Arena, you can download and play something and it's not ranked. And it's like, that's what we have to do is before we start talking about, not before we start talking about, there are people who are much smarter than me who want to talk and discuss tokenomics and they want to talk about the assets and how that impacts the game and all that kind of stuff. And I release them. They're allowed to do that as much as they want. But this is like my advocacy group is to say, yo, if we get this free to play mode out there, like a permanent ghost card mode, but you don't get every single ghost card. I think that's the true way to seeing player numbers come up, a smarter, better educated, place and space, and it gets people so that ranked is actually ranked. You can use real ranked numbers now and not just have it be that's where all players instinctively go because there's nowhere else for them to exist. Like it should be honestly that this free to play mode, if you are a brand new account, you can't even go to ranked or tournaments or anything else until you play X number of the free to play games. Period.
Yeah.
This
And
is
you're
all
getting
I don't
people
know.
used. Yeah.
No,
you're
I
getting
think it
used
was
to
brilliant. Sorry,
playing the game.
Darkestnyte, go first.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're getting used to playing the game, right?
Yes.
The fun aspect of it, right? I think the part that gets us to try the game and then stick around, right? If you've already successfully completed a battle pass, you want to do it again the next month, and the next month, and the next month, right? I play games like that now, and they keep me coming back every single day.
And like again,
I mean, Battle Pass would be perfect for something like you, Darkestnyte.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Weirdbeard.
yes, that's exactly it. You know what I mean? Like, I think these three things solve a few different tick boxes that we have. And it's just, and they're, the thing is, the weekly is fairly doable in our current system. We already have a lot of the infrastructure there. Like it's, I just, part of me feels crazy. Like part of me feels like a psycho because I'm just like, hey, I play Super Auto Pets. Like this is a cool thing. But I really think that like I've put a lot of thought and effort into this and have been sitting on it for, like I said, this seismic moment that I need players when this comes out to like bear with me on the larger view of it. Like that's the thing that I ask for. I ask you to vote for this battle pass proposal. I don't know exactly how it's going to happen, but
Is there one coming or being talked about at least?
I'm going to ask for permission to put one up. Because it's less about like if we vote for this, it is going to happen. But I need because it's a money thing, you have to prove that it's there before they even invest the talks into, yes, we should do it. You know what I mean? Like, because I can't just promise, oh, it's $1 billion. Like you have to have the numbers to back it up. And you can't do that until you take a raise of hands. But it's vote for that. And the other thing is really making sure that this weekly idea, it will change. I'm sure it will change a little bit because it's just coming from my brain and not from the brain of like our developing team and our game design team and all that kind of stuff. But I really think that if we do this, it is the way forward and the way that we see player growth explode in a way to have outreach, right? Like we constantly are just talking about how do we get new players in? How do we get new players in? How do we get new players in? We've sucked dry the community that exists now. I think that putting this in, it's like, okay, we can either continue to keep everybody out and only have people that are paid in our little party, or we open it to everybody and it lets the riffraff and the rabble in there that aren't exactly paying for everything. But how many more people just by coming in will stay and start engaging long term? Like that's what I'm concerned about. And I think that card values and asset values will go up just from having more people in the eco. Like that's how you fix it. It's not like that's what we saw with tournaments is like a lot of times people were like, oh, you need to lower SPS staked requirements and raise CP or raise SPS requirements and lower SP or CP. And like, it's moving levers up and down as opposed to like, no, the true issue is that we shouldn't just finagle numbers. We need to actually go and fix fundamental flaws in how these systems were constructed. So it's, I understand that it's not easy. It's not, like a walk in the park. We just, it's the free to play mode switch we forgot to flip here. But I again, like it touches mobile, it touches economics, it touches new players, it touches like education, it touches all these different aspects. And that's why I think it's just such a, like, it needs to be done. And then once those things are done, then we have lots of other things. Like I said, draft mode may be low priority in that list, but there are a lot of things that draft mode would benefit.
Yeah.
Stuff.
I mean, so let me just say, I love the ideas. I'm glad that you expanded upon the battle pass, because while I wanted a battle pass, my understanding in the limited times you were able to talk about it, maybe on the town hall or publicly before, I didn't understand the depth of it. I thought it'd be more like a tournament pass, and I'm just like, okay, well, that's really only targeting people who are playing tournaments. But when you explain it or mirror it to something like a Fortnite, which I have played in the past, it's like, yes, we need more soul-bound things, and I'm actually for that. I don't think everything in the game needs to be sellable, right? Because that invites all kinds of exploits, right? You want this to appeal to players who can have some sense of progression over time, and for them to come back for more and more and more. So I'm all for the battle pass, and if that's a proposal, I can get behind that 110%. The other thing that you mentioned, which was what was the last one that is the most important? Oh, free to play. That's something that, again, I understand the whole conversation about tokenomics and asset values and all that, but free to play makes the most sense. And everybody always gets so mad about, the lack of mobile development. And I'm just like, yeah, but the whole like fees make sense, right? Apple and Google charging 30%, they need to dance around that. And if they're going to do the mobile on, make the browser version, friendly enough, that's fine. It's going to take some while to develop, but that's fine. But you could have an app version where there's no transaction and it's fully free. And as you said, we need to if we want to get new players in, we need to have a way for them to explore without having to spend hundreds of dollars or even tens of dollars renting cards to play at the higher levels, right? There needs to be an area where they can learn that's not dominated by, again, it's not hate on bots, but it's not dominated by bots at bronze, which are optimized to destroy you because they have all the data, right? So if you create a space where bots aren't incentivized to just be there in general, right? Or if it's bots, it's going to be maybe Splinterlands designed bots, right? It's a PvE environment that has like an easy, medium, and hard mode, and people can just go in and play, and that's their introduction. That's where you go, because right now, during the bull run last year, it was easy to get folks to come in and explore the game because we were printing money left and right. So you could come in and just, oh yeah, this is great. Someone like myself came in and I was just like, all right, well, let me put some money into this because I can easily get it back. But in a bear market like we're at now, I think you need to focus on the game fundamentals, as you said, and create a space where people can come in with very little to put on the line in order to have a decent experience and show them the actual value of the game.
Darkestnyte, you've been quiet. What are you thinking? Are you talking shit about me?
I'm loving it. No, you guys are handling it. I love it. I wish we had seen the light 6 months ago, right? Mm-hmm. When we could have implemented some of this stuff. And I think we'd be much further along. So no, I'm loving the conversation. The comments are going wild, right? So I think you have a really good support team here for that. Get your proposal out. I will vote for it without any reservations whatsoever.
It's just, the big thing is, like I said, it's not money solutions. Everybody, as soon as that announcement came out, people were like, "Oh, can we take money from the DAO? Oh, can we group fund, getting?" No. Don't. This is not a money problem. It's not a money problem. It's a Splinterlands looked at a gajillion projects at once and took their eye off the ball. Yeah, and they didn't deliver on the core product, which is Splinterlands, for many, many months. And I understand that, like, those are opportunities. I'm not saying that it's not the wrong choice, right? Like, had all of it happened and we just like cashed out and it was a raging success, you'd be like, okay, obviously that was the correct choice. Yeah. But from where we're standing right now, we need to be more concise in the solutions moving forward, which are people solutions. It's actively going and making sure that we address the technical debt in our stuff. Like, our game loves, in what's called in tech, MVPs, minimum viable products. They really like getting stuff out the door, and it's fucking made with duct tape and toothpicks. It's not very good. And it's out there and people like that, but then it's like the animosity and resentment created by having things that work but are broken at the same time is almost worse than taking your time to get it out there and have it be in a polished state, right? Like, you look at Battlefield 2042. It was a game. It turned on. You could get into matches, but because there were so many crazy bugs in it that people fleed from it the moment they got it. Same thing with Cyberpunk 2077.
Yes.
I understand that was a whole debacle in and of itself, but like, I'm a games and media person, right? Like, I am a follower of storylines and how things got to where they were. Cyberpunk 2077 in a polished state now is a really good game. It's not an amazing game. It's not a world-changing Skyrim that's going to be put on toasters for the next 20 years for people to download. But it's still a really good game. But the issue is that it launched in an almost MVP sense, in that there was still a lot of stuff that was broken in it. There was a lot of things that just like caused player discomfort, and that's the narrative that took over. And we're sort of in the same place, right? There's another game though that's the opposite of Cyberpunk 2077 that faces the same kind of critiques and criticisms, which is No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky, I'm not sure if you're familiar, was it's a space exploration game. And when it launched, they said, hey, you're going to be able to, there's all these randomly generated planets, millions of them, so you're never going to run into other players. You're going to see brand new things every single time. And when it launched, it had those same criticisms of being almost an MVP product. Now it's one of the consistent top sellers in the Steam database, PS4 and PS5 consoles. Like, it's a great, solid game. And what it did though is that they had to work so much harder and for so much longer after that launch to get it to a place where it needed to be, to where people weren't clowning on it and making it like an issue. I feel like we're sort of in that same state. We launched with all this promise, all this like great momentum behind it. And then because we didn't follow up on the issues as they were discovered and sort of solved for, they just compound and stack and stack and stack.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, that's the narrative that we're arguing against. Lux Vega selling out is awesome. It's great. It's super cool. It's a very cool card. Everybody talked about Splinterfest. Guess what? Splinterfest paid for itself. And not only did it pay for itself, it generated money. And it was an amazing experience to bring players together. And it does more than just dollars and cents on paper, right? Like there was many benefits that went along with it. But all of these different narratives get totally washed away if you see that and then go log into the game and something is jank. Like it's impossible to overcome. Yeah. So, you know, like I think refocusing management, myself, every employee that's still here at Splinterlands to focus on player experience. And that encompasses a lot of things, but player experience and being a white glove service of being for the players, like we are here to serve players. That is going to be the thing that I think redirects the ship and really sets the next kind of era in Splinterlands. And it's like, if you want a Netflix show, right, you want a dope ass anime where, you know, that you have the superpowers and somebody goes, you know, like all the cool anime that I'm watching, it can be done, but people need to be invested in the game and not the tokenomics of it. You launch a Netflix show for a game that people only care about ROI. They're like, where's the numbers going up? This is an action. This has a story. I don't care about that. We have to fix it by not replacing those players, but like those players can occupy a space while we have to fill the space of people who are here for a well-functioning, thought out, like good game that they are able to get in, and then have that squishy middle of, you know, people that are buying a little bit, maybe not a ton, but they, you know, those medium sellers need to have that space between the two parties. Whereas right now with just one, it sort of like forces them to the edge.
Yeah.
You know, Weirdbeard, it's funny. You hit on just one of the things that's really been a problem for me in the game is I feel like I'm constantly investing in the game. So for example, let's use Rooney, right? We have these Roonies, but at some point undisclosed in the future, it's going to be finished, right? And I would have loved that, to your point, right, that it's not an MVP, but it is a fully fleshed out, implemented, integrated product that I can now play in game. I didn't buy it as an investment. I bought it because it had some cool features, and I want to have another neutral assassin, right? That I can play with on my team. And I feel like I'm always waiting for the implementation of something that I've always purchased. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's a growing pain. I like all of this is not to fault anybody in this company, right? But I think that they're entering new waters and have been in new waters for a while without realizing it. They started as focused on crypto, and they used a game to deliver that. you are too big now. You are no longer a crypto company that has a game.
Yes.
You are a game that uses crypto to deliver. You know what I mean? Like that's the difference. And so, but it's like in a relationship. You know how one day that you're like just with somebody and then all of a sudden it's totally like you realize that it's been a totally different set of rules for a while without you realizing it. Like that's what I think leadership is kind of finding themselves in is like we have, you know, it's even down to the bot conversation. Like this is very touchy. So again, before I go into this is a statement of Weirdbeard as an individual, not a representative of a company, nor am I even able to make anything happen if I wanted to. But to take the stance of we're bot neutral is unheard of in AAA major gaming. Even if you even if you say we allow bots, it needs to be we allow bots in these capacities to do these things, right? You cannot be neutral because you are an arbiter of the entire system. You are responsible for what happens in it. The same way that somebody can sue me for just slipping on the stairs of my house, the same way we need to take responsibility for the things that are happening in our different game environments. You know, like I don't think that we are ever going to truly be able to remove bots from the entire game because it's like a company ethos and it's the way that it is. But instead of just saying, well, that's, you know, tough nuts cookie, like we got to actually go through and say, okay, well, in tournaments, it's a high enforcement area, no third-party tool assisted, no automatic submitting. High bot usage means that you're banned from KYC accounts. Guess what? You only get to play the free-to-play from now on. Everything else is locked off to you. Brawls and guilds, I think it's like medium enforcement, right? Like, hey, dude, it's easy. Like multi-accounting is hard to do in guilds and brawls because it's like you not only have to get invited into multiple guilds, you have to have the assets to be able to fill various frays against other, like it's just harder to scale, right? So it's like, no, you can have third-party tool assisted, meaning where it shows you lineups, but no, like you have to manually submit all of your teams. You have to have like different rules of enforcement, and then like whatever they want to do with ranked, that's not my area. I can't say shit for that. But it's like even taking a stance of saying no here, kind of here, maybe here, that is starting to take the baby step towards ownership of the issues. And that's what I think needs to be done as a game company, because we are now a game company that happens to function and have the ethos of a crypto company. And that's like the issue that you're talking about is you're investing, which you do in a crypto company, and not getting the delivery of like what you would expect from a game experience, right? Like we see this all the time with players that do not like me. And I love the players that don't like me because they bring a different perspective to who I am and like how I'm dealing with like a oil and water situation with a lot of players here. You know, you have people who are like, I will never KYC and Weirdbeard. If you make me, I'll set you on fire. It's like, okay, cool. Thank you for playing. But it's finding a way to have different environments within the game that those people can experience and enjoy. You know, like I always talk about Splinterlands when I'm talking internally, is it's a like an amusement park, right? You may only want to go on the bumper cars. You may not want to do the high-speed dragster and the thrill rides and everything and the giant roller coasters. Some people want to do it all. Some people only are there like, I'm here for the roller coasters. Don't talk to me. That's it. You know, and that's fine, but you have to have attractions and have it laid out so that you can benefit all of those customers instead of saying, hey man, some of the shit's broken, ride at your own risk, we'll figure it out as we go, right? Like you have to treat the bumper cars with as much importance and priority as you do the like high-speed dragster stuff.
Yep. Dude, you're in the company at the right time, the right place. I'm so happy you're here.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to have a job.
And we're glad that you have a job. So this has been awesome.
I don't want to come in and take over your guys' stream. I appreciate you having me here and everything. But like, dude, there's a lot of things that I'm an aggressive person, but I'm not aggressive in the sense that like I will never come into this company and be like, this is how you do it. If you don't do this, I'm out and I'm going to fight you over this. But it's like to me, it just feels like common sense at this point. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a genius. I promise you. My 11-year-old will tell you she's smarter than me every day of the week. But it's like, I want to be a voice for players, and players have to understand that I also need to be a voice for the company. So like, I'm right smack dab in the middle of like all these different things trying to pull in different directions, but like the movement has to be made. And while we were going through, you know, GLX, and we were going through tower defense, and we were going through multiple sales back to back to back to back, and we were doing all these different projects, I was very supportive in that. Well, guess what? We're at a crossroads now. So you've had your shot in the driver's chair. Can I take a stab at it? Because I really think that if I'm able to get even one of these projects that I've listed out the door, it's going to be a positive movement in that direction. And that, like, that's how we can, like, to tie a bow on everything. That's how I think we can really make a difference and a change. And what the biggest thing to do for the company is to not be angry about it, because it's more like they're swimming in the same pool as us. I don't think that anybody in this company, especially at the top, is ever going, man, how can I fuck over, you know, like all these other people. I don't think that at all. I think it's like just a difference in like priorities and opinions, and in coming to grips with being like, okay, you guys have done that. We're really happy. I'm sorry it didn't work. Here's some other options. Let's double down and see what results come out of this. Because I really think that, you know, like, it's much easier to do marketing when you have a free-to-play version. It's much easier to do community outreach and reach out to influencers when you have a free-to-play version. It's much easier to, you know, keep people that are mad and say, you just keep making exclusive cards and Splinterfest was so expensive. Hey, man, we got a free-to-play version coming through. I hope you're able to come and hang out. And then maybe in one weekly, Lux Vega will be in there, and you play her and you love her so much that you have to go out and buy one afterwards. Like, that's just my stance of, I love and appreciate every person in this community, especially, like I said, the ones that don't like me. And I just want to advocate and fight for their right to party, I guess.
I think, you know, that there's a lot of people, you're getting a lot of love here, but my favorite thing about you, Weirdbeard, is, and I'm trying to find the right words for this, but I find you to be accountable while also like accountable to yourself, but also empathetic towards the community. I find your responses to a lot of the pushback that you get in Discord, specifically Mav chat, to be very impressive, because when you respond in the way that you do, for me, as somebody who I'll say can be neutral, or at least look at both sides somewhat evenly, to me, it's just a clear night and day of like, okay, well, people are not being open-minded about what the game truly needs. It's like when you respond to a lot of the criticisms to your ideas, it's like, oh, okay, like somebody in this conversation is being really selfish, right? Because they see this as an attack on their way of things, you know, on the status quo. And they're not seeing the bigger picture here. Or more importantly, they're not even allowing themselves to be open to the idea that there is a bigger picture to be had and how this could benefit everything, right? So there's just a lot of closed-mindedness. And this is why I stay quiet and map chat a lot. I don't get involved with all the controversy. It doesn't even any time there, right? Because it's just like, there's people who are so passionate about what they have their you know, investments wrapped up in. But I very much agree that this should be a game first. And what the last bull run brought in was a bunch of investors who wanted to make money. And it's been a slow, steady bleed of people, you know, leaving because of the fact that they are not, you know, making the same amount that they did last time. And so, you know, for folks like myself, there's a small percentage of people who came in last year looking at it as an investment, and then we're just like, oh, this is a cool game with a cool community and a cool, like, you know, team behind the project that's putting this together. I want to see where it goes. And I think that this is definitely a good time for them to be focusing on, let's figure out how to make the game freaking awesome, right?
Yeah,
and not just be about ROI.
And I think it's like, it also, people make fun of me sometimes because I openly say like, hey man, I don't own assets in this game. I own nothing. You can never say that I'm trying to protect a certain class of interest assets or anything like that. It's not because I don't have faith in the project. Like people are like, oh, does that mean that you don't care or think that the game, dude, my rent is tied up in this game. If this game goes under, I don't get to rent a house anymore. But
Yeah.
like I do believe in this game, but it needs to be untouched. Like I need to be lily white when it comes to this, so that I'm never arguing from a stance of, oh, well, I own these cards and that's why we can't get rid of alpha tournaments because I have a lot of alpha cards, or, you know, even just being involved. I've missed out on money. I've missed out on a lot of money too. And I don't tell my fiance about that because she'd be mad as shit. But like, I cannot do it because it gets rid of that impartiality that you're talking about, of like being like, dude, I just want what's best here. And, you know, sometimes people are going to get caught up one way or another. It's never going to be like, hey, everybody's happy, shake hands at the end of the day. But, you know, like when I'm arguing for something, it's because I just want to make this work for as many people as possible in the best way possible. And like, even those people who are selfish and want to protect assets, I want to argue on their behalf too, right? Like it's the same reason why, like, when we talk about redoing the payouts for alpha tournaments because they pay a whole bunch, I'm never going to just go, oh, people are upset that alpha cards make a lot of money, we need to nerf only that. No. You need, if you're going to make a change, you have to make a change to all formats and how you do it, so that it's not just one class is being kind of attacked. And that's what's lost a lot of times, you know, like when the ranked rewards were redone and people are like, oh my God, I cannot believe so much is going to to champion and so much to diamond and everything like that. I think that they were arguing from a perspective of like people who are there saying, no, we want those rewards. People who weren't there were going, hey, you get too much, we want to put it down here as well. My position is we need to fix education of how players can get there, because we're obviously not doing a good enough job of making the track open and available for people, that if they do want to do that, here's how you do it, other than just go rent cards, go buy more decks, you know, like what's the way to get there? And if there's no opportunities outside of go rent more cards, that's a failure on our part. That gap needs to be addressed and fixed, right? So it's like, it's always trying to come from outside of the system to patch the stuff on the outside. Everybody wants to fix the inside of the ship while I'm looking at the hull. And that's just, you know, it's a blessed and cursed position to be in at the exact same time.
No, that's a fair point. Sorry, Darkestnyte, were you gonna say something?
No, I'm just saying this has been awesome, right? I mean, there's a lot of detail here, Weirdbeard, that you're able to provide. So again, when we started this stream, I was feeling kind of, a little down. Right. But now I can see the road ahead. Right. And to know what you guys are focused on. And let's say you only get 30% of what you're asking for.
Yeah.
That's still way better than we have now. And each one of those initiatives has a very specific benefit that will really encourage us to not just gain new, players, but retain them as well.
Well, that's
education is key.
Like what I said when I first came on was, we're on a very strict short timeline. Yeah. It is not money timeline. We're not running out of money. It is, we have to reassert to players that we understand what the path in front of us is.
Yes.
These moves are not to we don't need to generate immediate income. We need to go and do something that we come back to players and say, all right, here's the mistakes we made. Here's how we're learning. Here's what the next steps that we're taking and why we're taking them is. And if we can do that, we're going to be just fine. But if we continue to like hem and haw and like double down and like somebody else asked for, Rebellion to go. If we were to put Rebellion up for sale in a month, no, we learned nothing and we are in trouble. That is the much bigger story. And it's like that's why I have these things. I have them, pretty well shaped out. And I hope that we can just like rally enough of the community and the players to get behind me to go, hey, Weirdbeard's not perfect. He is not like an all savant, but it is a start in the right direction. And that gives enough breathing room to people like Aggie and Matt to go and see the success of the battle pass or success of the free to play and go, maybe my mind has been changed a little bit.
Yeah. I have a question. I mean, and this is really to you too, Aftersound. So, I mean, we talked about some pretty powerful things here. what on the current roadmap will be when that post came out last week? We had like land in big capital letters. I gotta tell you, man, I've heard some things here today that I'd be willing to wait for land, right? I'd be willing to wait for all that other stuff, and really get some of this stuff done. I mean, you guys feel the same? I know you do, Weirdbeard, but after Sam, like, do you think that you could wait for the other stuff and get some of this new stuff in?
I'm not a landholder, so speaking very candidly, I don't give a shit about land. So, like,
Well,
I mean, I hold two plots, but my point being with that, sorry, my point being with that is, like, I understand the frustration, but
Yeah,
I am, to your point, Darkestnyte,
yeah,
I am all about what is best for the game right now. And
right
if,
now.
you know, the stuff that we heard today, or sorry, if there's something better out there, and I think the stuff that we heard today merits that conversation, or at least warrants a conversation for it, I'm all for that entering the game sooner rather than later, right?
and you have to remember, it's not one or the other. Land can still progress. Like the people that work on land, you know what I mean, don't have to, whatever, go in your corner. You can go do that.
Right.
Like they're already so just deep in that project. Like they're lost in the sauce of being so deep in that project. It's like we just need to have, I mean, it's shitty to ask for hiring on more devs, right? Like it's, hey, we just fired people, let's hire more people. But it's like, it needs to be, we need to try to get some stuff out the door and show a one-to-one of like, hey, we've improved all the filters and tournaments and made it so that you know, like we recently fixed a bug to where if you made a tournament and you paid to create it but you didn't pay for the prizing, that tournament would be lost in the ether. You couldn't ever find it again, and it's just like, it's an annoying bug, right? And we fix fixes pretty regularly, but it's like, if we go through and do some player experience stuff and see numbers start to go up, then they go, okay, let's do a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And I think it's like land devs need to be left alone, but the people who are sort of having their hands in many different things and being sort of all over the map and not delivering on like tangible items, because you're never going to win hearts and minds with tech modernization. It needs to happen, and it needed to happen, right, in order to deliver on land and these other promises. But now that tech modernization is out and in the wild, we need to recapture some of that like technical capital and put it into this other thing for the time being. So like, would I delay land? No, because I'd have a pitchfork committee coming after me. But like, I think that there are ways to do things that do not require delay of promised things already, while still getting things out the door. And it seems counterintuitive, because you're like, well, how can you do what you're already doing and do more? Well, it's smarter. It's doing smarter in prioritization of like, like the things that are going out need to have a player impact and something that we can be like excited and champion. Like,
there we go. Yep. Yeah. I mean, because I want to bring. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I want to bring new players into the game, right? But right now it's difficult to get them to stick around. But if I could tell them, hey, get step one, get a battle pass. Hey, we're going to do some free to play. And hey, this Friday night, we're going to do this draft tournament. And you need to be there, and don't worry about cards because they're going to be provided for you. I mean, that's an easy conversation, like a super easy conversation, something I can build my calendar around. Right. And again, land, again, it'll get here. Right. But this sure will keep me busy until it gets here.
And I mean, like, listen, you can do all kinds of things like with a battle pass, right? Let's say it's 100 levels. It's getting towards the end of the battle pass. You have another 20 levels left. I want to finish it. We should give an option to have like, hey, burn DEC so that you can get those last couple of levels. You know what I mean? Like, hey, if we do draft mode, we're not going to make it to where you pay SPS to get in. It's a DEC burn or a voucher burn, right? Like we should be able to, but products like that have to be made to use in there. There's already a ton of DEC sinks, right? But players are either just not educated on how they operate, or they're not using them in the way that they should, or like at the frequency. It's like all these other things. I always say, keep it simple, stupid. We're overcomplicating. Like to bring it back to why I argue for this free to play series over, like, I remember Yasik and Bulldog had proposed like, hey, we'll do a rule set that goes over the entire game. And it's like, a brand new player who joins into the game isn't going to get that. They're not going to get, you know what I mean? why is this thing happening and what does it mean for the next day? And I'm just learning the game. And I don't think it's a bad idea, but it's just like, we need to drill down. Again, I worked in radio. Do you know the kind of people that listen to radio in 2022?
Very, very opinionated.
Well, very opinionated, but also dumb as a box of rocks. Like, they just had, like, the internet exists, dog. Like, you don't have to listen to, Bob and Tom wake you up in the mornings.
Right.
But so I'm very used to, like, strip it all away. Just give me the core idea, and that is it. Nothing else. If you have to go and look at any other source to understand what is going on, too complicated. I'm out. They're not going to do it. So we need to make this as simple as possible for people. And I think a free-to-play version is just like, put you in, you only get these amounts of cards, these rules, and these mana caps. Have a good day. You know what I mean? And they'll figure it out. And I think that, like, it's the same way with the DEC stuff is, hey, you want battle pass levels? Just burn some DEC. 1-to-1. Very easy. 1-to-1. You don't have to know the tokenomics or how you're going to convert it to going into this, to do this, to send it to this, to do this, to burn it. Like, it'd even be like Neopets. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Neopets. If we had a DEC wishing well to where you could throw in a bunch of DEC to get burned and you have a small chance of getting, like, either garbage or, a really cool card maybe sometimes. Like, I think little things like that, while it's easy for me to be like, oh, it's super easy to do. It's not about the technical aspect of how easy or hard it is to do it. It's where is the mind and the heart of the company lie? Because if we want to make something happen, as with Rooney, it will be made to come to pass. You know what I mean? Like, they were like, we need to do an Ethereum, like, it's our marketing outreach. This is how we're going to do it. Rooney needs to happen. Guess what? Rooney happened. And now, it came to fruition in a very short period of time while we were also onboarding and getting ready for Splinterfest too. So, like, it's not about abundance of resources. It's, if you want to make something happen, it will happen. So how do we make it so that everybody from the company perspective and the player perspective go, yes, make this happen. And if you do that, then it's like, it just, appears one day.
Darkestnyte, real quick, just to get back to my point about land, I think the reason that it's important for them to do land right now is because there is there is a lack of confidence, right? Obviously, everything that's happened or transpired over the past week. So their whole refocusing on bringing things to the forefront, or like getting these products out that they've promised, that's probably the major or the biggest reason that they should be getting and focusing on land. Just to counter my other opinion, which was, I don't care when they push it back.
Yeah, there was a part B to my question, right? So, because I agree with what Weirdbeard said, right? Yeah, we still should do land. I just felt that list that they put out was too long, right? Cut that list in half and really focus, right, on what's going to do these things. Like, I envision if Weirdbeard gets his way, he's basically creating a hopper, right? And into the top of that hopper goes new players, right? What comes out the bottom are competent, loyal customers to Splinterlands, right? That go out and advocate that I just went through the best experience of my gaming career, and you guys should try this too. And you know what? You can make a couple of bucks, maybe, as a result, maybe. But that's not the real focus, right? The focus is just having this great gaming experience.
I just want to do cool shit, man. Like, I don't know how else to say it without being like sound like an idiot, but it's like, dog, like, I think it'll be cool. I think a lot of people will like it. And it's like, cool always wins. It just always does, no matter what,
Agreed.
And that's something that, like, we always strive, I think, as a company to do cool stuff. But let's just do some different cool stuff. And like, we talk so much about marketing, and we talk so much about outreach, and so much about all this other stuff. And it's like showing off a shitty house. Nobody's going to buy it. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's going to come here and see jacked up stairs and scuffed floors and a hole in the wall and be like, I'm definitely going to buy this place. And I just, like, instead of burning that money, lick your wounds, come in, player focus, make the people that are here extra happy. Not just on the investor side, but from a player stance, from bottom to top. And then from there, once everybody's very happy, you go and do the outreach, because when they come in right now, if they were to come into our Discord and be like, I'm a brand new player and I'm so excited, they will be met with walls of text of just why they should not be excited. And they're quickly like, I'm out.
Yeah.
So like, we need player sentiment is a massive factor, you know, like if this was a Sims game, our Sims are not happy right now. And so I don't want them.
This is a Sims game. It's all bots.
Yes. So like I need to up their happiness levels, and we have to do things that are going to do that before we go and try to do other things. Like, again, if they're if they're concerned about money, which from me, again, like I only know the books that I'm able to know and see and everything like that. If they're really that concerned, then they get the VC money. Then, you know, they sell off at the very top. But I don't believe that the solution for money is necessarily sales and you know, some people have talked about a holiday card and everything. I want to do like seasonal events. I want to do stuff like that. But guess what? That's not right now. We have the 3 things that I talked about are right today issues.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been advocating for like a holiday or seasonal card, but to your point, not necessarily for the money. I want it because I think it's cool and it adds some excitement and spice to the game. Now, can it also be beneficial to the economy and the tokenomics by burning stuff? Yeah, which is why I've been like behind it. But the main reason is because it would just be cool to have a Krampus card or an Easter Bunny card or something, you know, whatever. Like, we won't get into specific holidays, but yeah,
they do that for AAA titles, right? Like Apex or Overwatch or whatever. They do seasons, and it's not only just like what you do in the season, but they'll have like, oh, and here's the Christmas event or the Halloween event where they redo everything to look kind of Halloweeny, and they have a Halloween skin that you're able to get, and you're able to do things like that.
Right.
But that's the kind of stuff that I think needs to be looked at through the battle pass. You know what I mean? Like, instead of just having it be a thing that's freestanding, stuff it in the battle pass, have seasonal cards that end up at the very end of the battle pass so that they're cool collectors ones and not necessarily ones that just, you know, like, hey, maybe the maxed out one is through the battle pass, but if you want to buy individual ones, you can buy individual ones for $5 or whatever it is. I don't know. But no, like, I'm
all for the battle pass, and the way that you're describing it today, or the way that you did describe it today, I think that should be one of the focuses. I think even more so than the main one that you had, which is player experience. I feel like if you want to help retain the players that you have now, that's what you should be doing, right? And then to get new players in, which again, I'm not advocating that we need new players right now. And I actually loved your analogy of the shitty house, because for me, and I've been saying this for a while, you know, one of the hot takes that I put out on Twitter, which got a lot of hate because it's just like, oh, you don't understand what's going on, was we don't need new players right now, right? We shouldn't be focusing. That's not where the team should be focusing. The only reason people want new players is because they think it's the demand from that is going to drive the value of their assets up. And I tell them, you're an investor, you're not a player, and you're thinking like an investor, not a player. Like, what we want is new players to come in because the game is cool. And so right now, it's if all we're doing is putting advertising out, right, or putting marketing and stuff like that, it's like putting a bow on a shitty house and then spamming it everywhere on Zillow, whatever. What you want is to have an awesome house that I'm gonna go all in on this analogy. What you want is to have an awesome house so that people just casually driving by be like, oh shit, that's a nice house.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're not even getting marketed to. They're just like, that's a nice house. That's pretty cool, right? I want to know more about this house now, right? So that's what you want, and that's where the focus should be, is on creating an awesome house or awesome infrastructure.
And again, there's cool is a hard selling point, right? Like, cool doesn't pay bills most of the time, but it is much easier to take the selling points and pair it with something cool, right? Like, as it is right now, we're a bunch of crypto nerds who are just like trying to scream at mainstream gamers and be like, oh, well, this is the real reason you should play our game. It's because the ROI on this is actually this, and then what you're doing. And it's like, but then they get, you know, like, they look at another game and it's like, anime waifus, here you go. You can have hot babes with all the coolest weapons. And people go, I think I'll go there instead. And it's like, if we pair cool with our underlying selling point, which is owning your assets, being able to trade and have volume to your different things that you own and actually be able to move off chain, then you win. That's the win. But as it is right now, we're just like half cocked the entire time and not really able to capitalize on our player advantage, right? Like, why does Magic and Hearthstone still kick our ass? Because we're just not cool. Like, you know,
I mean, the game experience just isn't on the same level. That's just what it comes down to, right? Like, how many people got super excited with was
Battle
it like
2.0?
Battles 2.0, right? And it's just like, oh man, I can't wait until that's in the game. And I'm just like, all right, that like there's, at least from my understanding, like they're recording some of the clips right now, but that's not like a priority. But
Yeah, exactly.
to your point, that is something that's just cool that people want, right? And it's I don't know.
It's like, so it's like, it's trying to find the way to marry how do we make money and how do we do cool while making money, which is battle pass, free to play, draft modes. After that, then we can start talking about other things that are just financial and just cool, but like you have to have that genesis. You have to have that seed that like allows you to split into the two paths, because then, you know, you're not just so into one, I guess. I'm an idiot. I don't know, but like I feel like that just starts the train rolling, because the momentum is so much more important, and that's the biggest thing we've lost in this company over the past 8 months. It's not token prices crashing. It's not loss of, you know, enthusiasm. It's not the game has gotten substantially worse. It's none of those things. It's momentum. Before I joined the company, the momentum was very high because we hit all those player numbers that everybody was so excited about. Players were coming in just because they wanted to be part of the Discord. And now it's like pulling teeth trying to get people to be excited about something, because even when we like announce, hey, here's a new thing that we're doing, even if it's not a sale, there are people who are waiting to be like, great, well, you know, you've done nothing for me, so I'm not excited about anything you tell me.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. I'm curious though, if we can dig a little bit further into this, just because I give people some kind of realistic timeline. You want to propose something for the battle pass, right? You want to put a proposal for the battle pass. Hopefully we can get the kind of support needed and interest from the community to push that to the top of the priority list, or at least one of the top items for priority list. I'm not a dev. I don't know what your technical skills are, but what would a timeline to get that out be like if we were to get a
battle
by the end
pass
of the year? Yeah.
I would
just ground everybody in a realistic timeline.
The technical aspects of a battle pass are never the hardest part. It's the creative side of it, of getting the skins, the titles, the things that people actually want. And that's actually been one of the largest bottlenecks. Everybody's always like, oh, why don't we hire more devs to make things happen faster? You know, land is not the bottleneck in land is not coding it. It's the creative of getting all the how it looks and how it operates and how it feels, right? And like the artwork and the assets that go into that. That is the bottleneck. So like, I mean, the battle pass, I would talk 6 months.
Summer 2023.
And it should be like late spring, early summer, and it should be the same thing. You launch the battle pass alongside the free-to-play version. You fill it so that when people go and they're playing in the free-to-play, they see, oh, there's a battle pass. Oh, there's this, you know, like I even think that people should be allowed to play in the free-to-play version without a summoner spellbook, but they just don't get anything. And then if they eventually do buy the summoner spellbook, everything that they had earned up to that point, they then get. You know, so eventually they'll sit there and be like, oh, well, I've been sitting on all these things that I could have been getting. What? Like it's the same thing with battle passes in AAA games. There's the free to play battle pass, and you go along and let's say you're at like level 45 or whatever. If I buy the premium one, you're then given everything from the levels 1 through 45
that you accomplished.
You accomplished. Like, this isn't about gatekeeping. It's about just that extra little spice that allows you to gain all those extra items and everything. And I think that's going to be the biggest thing, because again, creative is always our toughest resource to manage and navigate, because you can't just say, draw a really cool thing. You know, like there's the technical aspect, but also the creative soul aspect to it. But, you know, I think that if we're going to deliver, this cannot be hey, we're going to talk in the next bull run if we can start. No, it's not happening.
Yeah.
We commit now. It is the future plan moving forward. And we start delivering small bite by small bite, because we're going up the mountain. and it's one foot in front of the other from here on out. And that's the lesson that we learned, is that it cannot be just continue to kick the can down the road. It is every day we get better, and every day we deliver something else that improves the player experience.
What if you got everything you wanted and then the bull run hits? Won't you feel like, won't you be like so happy? You'd be like, oh my God, like, I'm sure glad we did that, because it's gonna be nuts, right, when it comes back. So
Yeah, but I mean, like, yes, that would be cool, but I don't care. Like, I'm here to, you know what I mean? Like, I'm here in the mud. It's the mud life, right? Like that will all be super cool, and that'll allow more things to happen. But like, I live in a perpetual state of nothing will ever happen. Nothing good is ever going to come. So like, let's just do the best that we can right now with what we have. And then if we're ever in that position again, let's talk about it then. But even then, I'm going to be like, all right, we're trying to shore up our sides for when shit hits the fan one more time. You know, like, I think that like the other large issue that really kind of I don't want to use the word crippled in a bad word. Don't extrapolate from this, but it kind of crippled the company, that like we saw the rise at the end of the bull run. Had this company experienced a bull run beforehand and like been a larger company that had many employees and everything like that, it would have, when the bear hit, you would have already shored up all the sides, right? And we did the best that we could as a company. But it's like that first time of expanding into a corporate company already has enough, like, you know, mines that you have to run over that are going to really disrupt what you're doing. That to go up in a bull and down in a bear is just that much harder for your very first time.
Yeah. The other argument or counter argument to that is the fact that you want to build a game that can be recession proof, right? Or bear market proof, because that's one of the industries. Like, if people can't go outside and spend money, they're going to spend money on video games. So you want to create an experience where people will be able to come in and have their entertainment or get their entertainment value from something like this, which hopefully will pay them back more than something like a Fortnite or whatever. So can I ask you a quick question? Because
have you not been asking me questions? Yes, you can ask me questions.
Isn't that what we've been doing? All right. Well, sorry, I meant to say
a tough
you
question.
Mentioned something earlier.
Okay.
A tough question. This is actually probably softball, but I don't know if I just haven't heard it. You said something earlier about we're all just crypto nerds, but I don't know. Are you a crypto nerd? Are you like what's your journey with crypto?
I got hired at Splinterlands. Like, okay. I mean, like, I've talked about this publicly, and I offer this in like a sense of transparency to show my own flaws and inadequacies, right? Like, this is not to say that I know more than people. It's just to be willing to admit that I don't know things and do my best by learning every day. You know, like, I worked in TV and radio for 10 years before this. You know, 2 years before I joined Splinterlands, I was doing games media. So, you know, like, I did a lot of content creation, and I was based around reporting for the largest AAA titles. You know, like, I'd go and interview Valorant players that after their World Series win. You know, like, I'd be able to interact, and I dealt with large publishers and their marketing companies, and hey, we're going to create content for you based around this, and this is how we do it. And here's like, so you learn kind of like the spider tentacles that go along with it, so that doing esports and tournaments is not, it's not about knowing the tournament system as like a coder, engineer, like impact on that kind of stuff. Like, a lot of the like tokenomics aspect and the economy decisions should not be made by the head of esports and tournaments. The head of esports and tournaments is there to guide the ship on like, what are the values? What are the things we find important? How do we accomplish that? And the actual body count of how do we manage the manpower and the players into accomplishing these things. And I have no crypto experience. Like, I know it from being in the tech sector of doing games and media journalism. So like, I know how it works from the outside, but I have Splinterlands was my first account. It was my first wallet. You know what I mean? Like, and understanding that. So like, it's been a year of being educated and trying to make better decisions with people that know it better. But I promise you, in the same like reflexive way, there's nobody that can come in and tell me how to mobilize a community better than I can. I promise you. Like, that's just, it's what I do, right? Like, so to the people that, I don't feel like to make this a successful venture that every single person has to be a crypto like genius, right? Let the people who handle the design and the economy team do that. That's not my business, man. Like, the same way that Aggie doesn't need to know how to do marketing. He needs to know how to do CEO shit. Right? If he came down and was trying to tell marketing how to market, it'd be like, dog, stay in your lane, go be the best at what you can do at your position. This is a football team. If he's Tom Brady, he needs to maybe know the routes, but he doesn't need to know, every single thing of how them. Yeah, he doesn't need to run them, right? Like, so if I'm a fullback and I'm just trying to bull through and blow a hole open in the line, then like, that's my job. I need to know how to do that. And that's a singular focus that I have inside of this community and company.
Yeah, no, I think that's actually probably the biggest asset that you bring is the perspective of not being a crypto bro, because it's easy for the company to just bring on a bunch of crypto bros that are trying to figure out how to do X, Y, and Z within the economy, but actually turning this into a game that people want to play endlessly is where I think the magic's going to happen.
Yeah, when I start hearing about tokenomics, me, After Sound, I just blah 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 blah. Come on, give me a new card.
Well, see, here's the thing. Like, I love that stuff. That's what brought me to the game. But the gameplay is actually what made me stay. And now I want to see the focus on the gameplay actually improve, because you're seeing
monkey brain
all the
stuff.
Investors get washed out.
Like, you have the lizard brain in the back of your head that's like, I like that card. That's a cool card. Give me the card. Like, those are the people that we need to instinctively talk to more, because like the tokenomics, I'm so appreciative of the people that are very educated and understanding of it. Like, that's a skill I do not possess. I'm not saying it like because I want to dismiss it, but like the number of people that have a lizard brain that get excited by cool shiny stuff comparative to the people that like truly understand tokenomics and their blood starts running hot because they can talk about ROI. One's a very small community and one's a very large community. Which one are we kind of like? They can exist within each other, but you need to have that large one to foster the small one, because otherwise it just becomes, why not just run bots? Why do we not just run bots in every single thing? Because it is only focused on the tokenomics and asset value. I want to talk to the players in Southeast Asia that don't have a lot of money, that, they just want to come in and play the game. They want to be in the environment. Like, the people that beg for us to come and do live events the most and live tournaments the most, people in the Philippines.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
They every single day, I get messages begging for Filipino tournaments. And it's like, I've maybe, I don't want to say never, not once, but like very rarely had anybody in the US hit me up and be like, hey, Weirdbeard, is there any way that you could come to Boca Raton and set up a, like a tournament for me and my friends to play in? Never, no. But like, they're like, oh, please, if there's anything you can do. And I think it's, like, and I'm not saying that the, US audience isn't passionate. It's like our second largest audience essentially. But I think it's just like, again, they're able to know and feel safe at night because they're very focused on the ROI and return and investment on it. Whereas a lot of these other players are just like, I've never experienced what the fuck it means to be in like a whale and a heavy investor at a high level.
Yeah, no, agreed. Well, I had actually reached out to you about doing some unofficial stuff here, and I didn't want to step on any toes. And I think it's actually great that you've been on. I don't know how long you've been on, but appreciate you spending the time here with us. You've been on this entire time, and we haven't even talked about esports yet. So if you think about it, I'm just curious, like, what does that scene look like? If you just want to give us any kind of heads up or hint on A, what the company or you might have planned, and then B, what are things that we can do to help?
I am trading the future of esports for the now of the game, meaning that esports has a lot of back end work. And
Sure.
it's only because it's to make it not only like in a layer 2 environment so that we're not publishing it directly onto the chain so that it's much harder to bot and you also aren't able to do all these other things with it, but it's also from a presentation standpoint, right? Like we need it. It doesn't need to be ESPN NFL worthy, but we need to like be in the same ballpark as a Hearthstone and Magic. And
Sure,
that
yeah.
requires lots of creative resources. That means like we need to have it so that we can capture card selection. We need to manually advance battles one by one. We need to be able to show like, like maybe a draft or a ban option so that you can ban, like, how do we want that to function? How do we want the actual series to go? We want to be able to have like local tournaments, regional tournaments, and qualifiers to a world championship. Like we have lots of these large things, but that technical debt needs to be paid on the back end for live tournaments, because as is right now, we do not have a game that is esports ready. And so it's like laying the foundation, getting players educated about it beforehand, and doing a lot of like the pounding the pavement type work while the technical stuff is done, so that we don't like get the technical stuff done and we go, okay, guys, it's esports time. And people go,
Yeah.
oh, we're doing esports in Splinterlands? Oh, what does that even mean? Like, can esports happen in a Web3 game? Like the same freaking conversations I've had for, a year now at this point. Like we need to do all that kind of work and do some of these local, like non-official tournaments, just to get people sort of excited so that when we drop our product, it's infinitely better, right? Like it's the reason that I think like Little Caesars Pizza, which is the worst takeout pizza in Detroit, and I will take no questions about it. The reason why people still eat Little Caesars is because if they make a pizza at home, it's a pizza. It's not a pizza though. You know what I mean? Like it's a homemade pizza. It's like, ugh.
Yeah.
But then you go and get takeout pizza for $5 and you're like, this still tastes like cardboard, but it's better than what I had. And I think that's
ready.
Yeah, it's hot and ready. So it's like, we call them hot and sweaties because you just like meat sweat afterwards.
It just
yeah,
drips
like, I
off,
think,
right?
Yeah, it's gross. But like people are educated and have been dealing with an imperfect system so that when we unveil true esports, they go, oh shit, like I get it.
Yeah.
It's real and it's here. And like we sort of saw that at the first Splinterfest where people like popped off and they were like, oh, this is what it could be. But even then, you know what I mean? I hope that they get acclimated to that and then we roll out the real version and they go, oh, that's what it's supposed to be. Because there was a lot of people that were upset with, they thought that it was going to be like true Magic the Gathering AAA excitement right off the bat for our very first tournament. And it's like, no, that most of the people in the company hadn't even touched tournaments in months and they didn't understand, like all the inadequacies that go along with it. So we had to do that first one, have some of the shortfalls, shown and proven. And then because the management team was there to experience it, they go, I get it. I've lived it. I understand what the shortfalls are. Now we need to fix it.
Can you expand upon that? Because I'm just curious what the internal feedback was like. Because when you and I had talked, and then even there at Splinterfest before everything really started, just the vision of it, the scope of it, seeing the full visuals there and the full experience. Is that something that they received where they're like, yeah, we get what esports can do for us now? And maybe now's not the time, but is that something where at least they looked at that and they said, wow? Because it seemed like it, but I'm curious what the internal feedback was like.
I mean, they don't know what they don't know. You know what I mean? Like like I said, I was a reporter competitively for like for Riot, the people that run League of Legends Worlds. Dude, do you know what that production is like? Like that is a gajillion dollars every single year with hundreds of thousands of fans, with 500,000 to millions of people watching this event, right? Like that is a standard that like it's the difference between like a Broadway play and a high school play for what we're doing. And it can get there, but they need to be educated on what is expected in the esports scene. What is standard fare for like how production goes, for how casters are presented? What is a stream for an esports scene look like? Like there's the fundamental building blocks that they have to be educated on before we even get to the design and like technical aspects of how do we present it? What is it supposed to look like? How do we stack up against other TCG games in the esports scene, right? Like there's all these different things that they're very excited. And that's good because, again, it's momentum. But you also have to like roll back some of that excitement that they have because they don't truly understand the depth of, you know what I mean, what they're really excited about. You know, like this is not a, hey, we'll slap this together with an MVP and get it. No. This is a project the size of land, and that's to just get it competitively viable. Not even like we do the effort that we put into land for an esports technical side, and all of a sudden we're competitive with Magic the next day. It's like that would only take us from like a junkie high school to like a state championship high school team. It'll still be good. It's still pretty good, but there's like that growth factor of even learning what the system entails.
And you want to be competing at the highest levels or presenting at the highest levels rather than state high school football.
I mean, I'm not, it's not a dunk. Like, you know what I mean? It's very,
no, I'm not saying that it is.
This entire conversation, everything I've said from the moment I've gotten on here is to not like be negging Splinterlands as a company, nor anybody in it, nor leadership, nor anything like that. Like this is all a personal opinion, but it's also like I come from a different world. This would be the same thing as if I was like, oh, just burn all DEC. Why can't we just remove DEC from the game? And they're like, okay, dum-dum, let's get you like building blocks of understanding what's happening here. And then once you have that, then we'll start talking about maybe like second level stuff. And it's a reverse thing, because it's like if I walk into the world of tokenomics and economics, I'm an idiot. I know nothing. You have to baby talk me. But when they come into my world, which is like marketing, esports, tournaments, game delivery for players and communities and community building, that's when I'm very much like, hey, this is a large thing that we have to learn. So let's start with, just one or two things and then go from there.
Let me show you the building blocks.
Yes. I just, I think excitement's there. I think they started to, because again, like these are guys who didn't, like I use Splinterfest as hopefully that they learned they are a game now. You know what I mean? Like that's why I said Splinterfest had so many non-tangible benefits of like they went there and they saw their artwork hanging on banners on the walls, and they saw displays, and they got brought up on stage while people applauded them and wanted to meet them afterwards and get their staff cards, of which I still don't have one because everybody hates me. And like they had all these events and stuff like that. And I don't have a staff card. It's bullshit. But like I hope that they realized that was like the start of the era. That was the flip for them, where they go, this is no longer, because they always talk so fondly about how it started as Steam monsters, and it started in like IRC chat rooms way back when, and like on these small little platforms and everything like that. Splinterfest, you don't hold Splinterfest for a crypto company. You don't. It's not a crypto company event. Because if it was a crypto company event, we would have just talked tokenomics the entire time. There would have been no tournaments. There wouldn't have been artwork on the wall. It would have been sayings about how you can maximize ROI. Guess what? That was a game event.
Yeah.
So, I hope that was the thing that flipped it, and they got very excited and passionate. But now you need to bring the rest of the company in line as far as values and ethos for moving forward as a games company that has that bedrock of crypto and financial built into it, but not the forefront anymore.
Yeah, agreed.
I've loved every minute of the conversation. I just want to, sorry guys, we were able to get to all the comments, but Sean Michael did want me to ask you about the status of tournament partner apps.
Tournament partners, so that's where
anything you could say about that?
So we have them, and I want to move forward, but like in the current times, we wanted to sort some of the other stuff out because it's just been chaotic. So I think like, because one of the issues that was brought up is, and this is like a quality of life thing, and I'll talk about it. It's nothing that anybody can do. Like it's in the production department. We'll figure out what it is. But, right now tournaments just go into this big bowl, right? Like all tournaments are like, there was a Trump tournament the other week that I saw, and it was next to the Splinterlands World Championship Round 2, which we weren't putting on, next to an official tournament. So it's like you had all these things thrown into the same thing, and it's really hard to not only track tournaments that you want to pay attention to, but it also makes it so that like you can't tell if you're a new player or even somebody who's not familiar, what's an official tournament, what's not. And so
Yeah.
it was brought up being like, hey, if we open up the allow list for all these new people to create tournaments, which we want to be able to do, we also have to update the filter system ahead of time so that we don't have them just drown out the official tournaments. And you know, not that I think it's a problem, but it just needs to be a distinction and separation. So we're waiting on some changes to go through with that so that it makes it easier, so that when you do create tournaments, people aren't saying and mad that you're creating all these tournaments, because it you know, obfuscates, thank you, the official tournaments there. It's coming, don't worry. I still have all the people. Soon.
I know. I mean, I'm excited about it. Like, one of my goals for 2023 is to do some kind of like unofficial meetups in different parts of the country, just to get that feel from Splinterfest, because I don't know what the plans for Splinterfest next year are, but the in-person feel was great, and if we can find ways to do some kind of unofficial, not esports, but just like tournaments, and get people into that, to me, that's one of the best ways that, you know, marketing forward can be done, as like a word of mouth. But
you know what I want to do,
how that plays out. And hopefully,
I've been trying to convince Liam and other people, and it's probably not going to happen now because it's like an expense. But I've been putting together a thing to talk about doing a physical hobby store tour, to where twice a month I would fly out to do like a Friday Night Magic, to where we would take one of the arcade cabinets that was featured out in the mall in I think it was Singapore. But you know, we had an arcade cabinet that was like a single player version of Splinterlands, and we would be able to go there, have the physical cards and stuff, like just like we did at Splinterfest, to get people excited. We would reach out to people in the different, you know, major areas that already played Splinterlands, but hopefully that the card game store would also market and bring in TCG players that were interested about the game and whatnot, and just try to make it so we go out there, shake hands, and kiss babies, because I think that's it's an expensive way to get new people in, because you don't get masses, but what it does do is it earns you super fans. So we have to have events that bring in just like body count, which is the free to play version, and then you also pair it with earning and building trust with super fans, and that's how you get the mix starting to go. So it's not just like free player leeches and whales, right? Like you have to have the mix of both into the ecosystem. But it's like that's the kind of stuff that I want to do, and you know, setting up and engaging with this community, because in a bull market, they're not looking at their wallets being all excited. They're excited to go hang out with Aftersound, you know, in Chicago, and Luthien, and you know, and get drinks afterwards after going and playing, you know, some Splinterlands in person and having like this event type thing.
Pizza.
Except people in Chicago don't eat deep dish pizza. That's a lie sold to idiot travelers who come in there. It is gross and disgusting.
Excuse me, I eat deep dish pizza all the time. I mean, I'm not in Chicago right now, but
that's why. That's the exact reason. If you were
Illuminati's.
No, it's the same way that like
I'm just trying to get a Illuminati partnership at this point.
I will tell you, because the other thing too is like when I lived in Philly, everybody would like, yes, you eat cheesesteaks in Philly, but like you don't go and get the Pat's or Gino's cheesesteaks because they're garbage. You go to D'Alessandro's in North Philly, which is not even the strips of meat, it's chopped meat, which is totally different from most of the other places. So it's like deep dish pizza is a lie. It is nothing but hype. It is a gross pie that you eat.
I will not tolerate this, but out of respect for you, Weirdbeard, I'll let it slide. We'll have to do, you know, we'll just have to do a pizza tournament at some point too. Then
Yes.
we'll see.
Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Finish that.
No. I want. I saw it. Pull it back on stream.
Oh. So I'm actually curious, not for this specifically, for us to do this every Sunday, but will ghost card tournaments ever open up to the public? It doesn't seem like from a tokenomic standpoint and card value standpoint that argument is ever going to pass, but I'm just curious, you know, what that could look like potentially in the future. Maybe if you increase the price of tournaments or something and it becomes a revenue generation for the team rather than being like a DEC burn.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we're hoping to do, but like outside of that, you know, we're looking at doing more hosted live tournaments where they're streamed, and we have, like, again, this is part of building out the esports platform. Remember, esports building is not just the technical aspect on the back end to display it. It's also training your audience. You have to train your casters, you have to train your players, you have to train your audience on what does it look like, how does it go. And the way that you start it without doing a Splinterfest every single time is you do weekly and monthly live stream tournaments with casters that are being paid to be on there, that people are able to enter and experience it and understand what it is, so that when we do the big ones, they go, oh my God, this is so great. But you don't get that reaction if you don't teach them how to come in and watch these tournaments and what they should expect when they come in and get the experience. So, like, ghost card tournaments themselves are probably not going to open up to the public, but there are going to be more opportunities for them to be built around a live stream product that people are able to host and regulate and run and do all that kind of stuff. So, I mean, that's kind of a yes and no answer to that, but you know, ghost card tournaments, again, at the end of the day, while it is a new tournament mode, it's a marketing tool more than anything else. It is a marketing tool. And if we are not using them to market, we are failing in half of the reason that this was made.
Yeah. One of my dreams, and I think you and I talked about this a while back, but one of my dreams would be to start like a league, right? That has some kind of, you know, structure similar to an NBA, NFL, and even just to do it small scale for the people who are, you know, following this channel. And ghost card tournaments make the most sense just because I have people ranging from champion all the way down to silver.
Yes.
So there's no easy way to like level the playing field outside of making everybody playing silver, for example, with a certain set of cards. And that's like we used to do tournaments on here. Darkestnyte and I would host it and do, you know, our unofficial casting for just like doing a battle analysis and all that. And I stepped away because once I heard ghost card tournaments were coming, I had this hope that, oh well, maybe they'll be opened up to the public, even though I knew that was going to be a stretch. But I do want to create something like that. And I know you've talked about having some kind of like ongoing leads or changing the way that leaderboards work overall. But yeah, I don't know. That's just I'm just dreaming out
I think
loud
I think it needs to be done, but it needs to be done in like not open to the public, meaning anybody can create a ghost card tournament, but like the same way that we're doing tournament partner lists, right? Like in the past, if you were whitelisted to be able to make tournaments, there was a lifetime. You could make as many as you wanted, do whatever you wanted, and nobody ever looked at that list. Part of the esports evolution is it's a maintained, manicured list so that, like, sure, certain people will be able to create ghost card tournaments, but they'll be doing it with the expectation set that it's not like that you're going to do a whole production around it, that you're going to make sure that you're streaming and casting and doing the, you know, making it so that it's not just running it, and you're not going to collect the prizing. It's going to be, you know what I mean? Like, I'll set it up. Here you go. It's your tournament now type of a thing, as opposed to just handing the keys out. Like, that's one of the things, you know, a year ago, tournaments was a black box. You didn't know what was going in or out. They just appeared, right? Yeah. Where now it needs to be, hey, I'd like to do a ghost card tournament for this. Okay, well, tell us more about it, and then we'll find out what it was like. And did you have any viewership? And if you had 4 people viewing and, you know, nobody entered into it, sorry, next time you're not going to be able to do a ghost card tournament. Like, it's a lot more of a hands-on. It's one of the things that people hate about how I do tournaments now is I make tournaments every single week. And it's sort of annoying because could I make them for like a month or two? Sure. It would make it so that if there was changes that happened 2 weeks after I made tournaments, it would suck. But it's more that I'm in there every single week in the mud, making it, understanding it, dealing with it. And that's the same thing we have to do with like these partner tournaments. Is you don't just get whitelisted and then it's like, hey, you get to make as many tournaments as you want and do whatever you want and however you want. It's like, you know, I think the goal is to eventually have it so that tournaments are filtered by official tournaments first, partnered tournaments second, and then non-partnered community tournaments third. So like, if you do pay a little bit of extra to be on the partnered list, you get more exposure, you get more promotion, you get more, you know, whatever the number is, and it generates a little bit of money for the company, but more so it's just like that barrier filter of making sure that if you're already paying to get a ghost card tournament made, I assume that you're not going to be, you know, rug pulling your viewers and, you know, like just taking the prizing and never sending it out type of a thing.
Is that something like, is the whitelist or whatever still open for that, or is that something I can just talk to you about offline?
I mean, you could talk to me about it. Did you apply when I put out the big ping for everybody?
No,
to apply?
I forgot. It was like on my list of things to do, and then I think I missed the deadline. So
That's you can. I mean, we haven't solidified it yet. If there's still people that want to get on, like the
Mhm.
thing is that it's, there's going to be rules set with it where it's like, hey, you have to make at least one tournament a month, but you can't make more than 7. Like if you make more than 7, I feel like you're just spamming them. If you need to make more than 7, come and talk to me. We'll see what the deal is. Like, what is it? You have to make it so that like, hey, tournaments, you have to be giving out more in prizing than you take in from entry fees. You have to make it so that you do at least, these certain types of things, and you can't promote other games. And there's just little rules that go along with it.
Sure,
I think as long as those rules are followed, having more community tournaments available is good, because the only reason that the community tournament fee was even instated was to protect against bots. So they wouldn't just make a ton of tournaments or whatever. And we're moving towards player experience, not bot experience. So I think that getting rid of that hump, like it still needs to be there just for guide rails, but I think getting rid of it in as many instances as possible is the best thing that can be done for the community.
Gotcha.
So we have to get back on it.
All right, cool. It is.
I'm sorry.
We will.
I
So I've been thinking
this.
Oh, this is normal.
I love it. I love it.
Okay.
This is normal. This is normal for us. I want to be respectful of your time because I know it's noon on the East Coast. So, and I don't want your girlfriend to get mad at you or fiance.
She just opened the door. I swear to God, if I could turn this camera.
We saw the look
turn
of
the camera.
terror in your eyes.
She just walked in.
Oh, we're so close.
I said that I was
Hi.
on here too long and that you were gonna come in and yell at me.
Since you're working
7 days a week. Yes.
I interrupt just to say goodbye.
Yes, you can come say
I
goodbye.
was just that.
Yeah,
a minute
sorry,
to-
my fiance is gonna come kiss me and say goodbye. Come, family. Everybody's all dressed up because they're going to see her mom, and I'm
Hi,
talking.
fiance.
cards
Hi,
and words.
Weirdbeard's fiance.
Hello. This is
Hey.
Jessica. Hello, Jessica.
Hey,
I love you. This is my daughter Bailey.
Hello, Jessica.
Behind it.
You can hide behind
up,
me.
Bailey?
My hair's all
Good to see
janky.
you.
Bailey has a Biz Kitty plushie in her room. She loves it very much.
I
So
will go get it.
no,
I see
'cause
the
I'm
Yoda
talk-
plushie behind you
we're-
too.
We're talking real stuff, Bailey.
Oh, that's real.
Yes, I love you too. Please drive safe. You're my world. Okay, goodbye. I love you too. Goodbye. But yeah, so you're respectful of my
well-
time. Don't worry about it.
Well,
Plus they're
I figured
leaving,
we
so it's
can- we can-
okay.
Oh, I was just about to wrap up then to see where things are at. I don't know if you had any final thought to give. Just direct
I
ask.
mean-
I know we've done a bunch of that already to the community.
Very cute. Here, they've seen. This is a Biz Kitty plushie for everybody that hasn't seen it. There you
There
go,
it is.
Bailey. Thank you very
Oh,
much.
Wait.
Yes. See, there you go. We also
Oh,
need
you
to
got
make
yours
more
too?
of those.
I do.
Not of those characters. I want dope, cool, different characters. But yeah, so I mean, like to put a fine bow on it. The takeaway, the company's not going to go bankrupt. If anything, the larger issue is to solve for people problems, right? People problems meaning like priorities, focus, and things that we think are important to tackle and handle. And people problems are also community problems, right? Because our community is people, not bots. Takeaway 1. Takeaway 2. I have 3 things that I'm really going to be championing both privately and publicly over the next 2 weeks, mostly over the next week. I hope that players that have concerns or issues with the 3 things that I talked about reach out, either publicly or privately, and I'd love to be able to discuss, because like these are being done for people, not for me. The only
There's a
thing
town
I
hall
gain
tomorrow, not the following week, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, so we'll be talking about this tomorrow, hopefully.
No, I will not be talking about this on the town hall tomorrow.
Okay,
because
never
we still have like, before you blast it, shotgun blast it to everybody. While yes, there are 71 people in here talking. It's not town hall levels where it gets put into recaps, and it's
Sure.
like that's an official channel. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
But like over the next couple of weeks while I'm talking about this, I need to rally people. I have never, not once in my time of the community, not suck, but like sicked the community on the game, right? Because like you lose a lot of leverage as soon as you do that, because then you're seen as like an enemy and not as like somebody that's working. So like I need to do what I can to rally the community, show them that I think that this is the best thing, and then not have them attack leadership in the game, but to come together more as like, hey, we're on board with this. If we can get the team on board without being forceful in making them do it, but having them agree to it, all of a sudden everything becomes much more powerful. And then the other thing too is that, like, if anything through this conversation, I hope that people understand that a lot of what's going on is manageable, but part of that managing is that this needs to be seen and viewed and treated like a game, which means that there are going to be concessions from both sides. You know what I mean? And that's a fundamental just structure issue, you know? And it's like, it's going to be tough for a lot of people that are the speculators and asset class holders to say, like, it's not that we're abandoning assets. We are not saying that we want to tank values of things, but in our priorities and the way that we deliver our projects and the mentality that goes into it needs to be deliver on fun and game mechanics first, with a really cool underlying great economic system underneath it.
I'm all in for it. All right, let me just. You feel so much better now, Darkest?
I feel so much better now.
Weirdbeard has that effect.
Yeah.
So someone's saying that I should make a recap, yo.
Oh, we were going to talk about
yeah, Weirdbeard. If you don't mind, I'd like to clip out the 3 things and post that, if that's okay with you.
I'm all here for it, because tomorrow's my D-Day of talking to leadership about these things that I want to do. So like I'm talking currently in an unofficial capacity of like things that I would like to be doing. So as long as we make the caveat to audience, viewers, and in discussions, none of this is what I am not saying leadership has to do this or I'm going to set myself on fire. This is, I have a vision. I would love to be able to get the team on my side. You know what I mean? And that's where I stand, is like, at the end of the day, I don't run the company. I can't say this is for sure what we're doing. Yeah. And I can't force Aggie, Matt, or anybody to say, yes, Weirdbeard is the one we have to listen to, because they even have a board of investors and shit, right? Like, I'm just some dude in my office at the moment. But like, I really think that it's going to be beneficial, and I know it's going to be a win. I know it. So, you know, like, anything to get people to be excited about this and like be supportive of me. You know, like, I don't need people to really care about the individual items. I need them to elect me to be the captain. You know what I mean? Like, as team captain, I'm going to make some calls that some people aren't going to be happy in, but as long as they understand that like my focus is the best for the game, hopefully getting rid of some of that control feels okay for them.
I cannot wait to pay money for a battle pass or pay the company. Like, I can't wait, right? So like, I'm going to start saving.
It'll feel so much more like a game at that point.
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know, man. I think all the stuff that you brought up today is valuable, and I would love to see it all implemented in the game, hopefully within the next 12 months if possible. But I really think the battle pass has so much traction available to it. And sorry about my internet. I don't know if it's been a little spotty for you guys, but I keep getting the little things. I'm hardwired in, so blame AT&T.
Well, I mean, that's your first issue right there. But
all right, that's my first issue right there. Darkestnyte, any final thoughts from you?
No, this has been fantastic. Weirdbeard, just thanks for coming. That's why I've been so quiet, right? Like, this is not a thing that we see a lot, and every word that came out of your mouth was just inspiring, I think, to the whole community, and it is a sign of better things to come, you know, over the next year, right? So if I have to ask myself more or less right now, I think I'm tipping back to more. So
tipping back to more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, I know you get a lot of love here. You get a lot of love on Gank and Walking Keys channel too. So there's a lot of people who support the vision, man. And I hope that you can get the support internally. And like I said, if there's anything that we can do to help amplify that or get you more support, you know, feel free to let me know publicly, privately, whatever it is, because we all want this game to succeed. A lot of people from a financial investment side have a lot at stake, so I understand that. But there's also a lot of people. Darkestnyte is probably one of the biggest ones who don't give a shit about the tokenomics. Who don't give a shit about the investment. They just want a cool game because the community is awesome, the team is cool, and they just want to see this thing succeed. And I think a lot of the ideas that you brought today are stuff that not just are good to happen, but need to happen in order for this to really hit its stride as a game rather than an investment.
Yeah, I mean, I'm here to make you guys happy. That's the only thing I'm doing.
Doing a great job.
Cool. All right. Well, I apologize again, guys, in terms of not being able to jump to the comments as much. Luthien, yeah, if you're in Chicago next Friday, I think we're gonna try and do maybe an unofficial Chicago meetup for some pizza or something. And real Chicago pizza, not whatever Weirdbeard was saying about Chicago pizza. But yeah, hopefully, and somebody said Dallas in 2023. Yeah, I'm going to try and do some stuff here around Texas in 2023 and hopefully more Chicago. And Darkestnyte, we should do something on the East Coast for sure, too.
I have some, you might be excited about a possible announcement if everything goes to plan. So those of you in Texas.
Where?
All right, you just going to leave it like that? Or we're just going to end the stream?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm in Texas all the time. You said Texas, right?
He did say Texas.
I said
so.
Texas.
You're gonna have to.
Oh.
You're gonna have to make your way out here, Darkestnyte, when that happens.
Yeah, we're doing it now. So, all right,
guys. Thanks for coming through. We'll see y'all soon.
Okay,
I'll be live on Tuesday. Yeah, I'll be live on Tuesday. I don't know, probably not Thanksgiving, but I'll see you then.
Well, dude, I'll be around Thanksgiving.